across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Well, what a show we've got tonight. Unfortunately, James Whale isn't going to be here, but we have got Ben Habib. We have got the first Reform councillor ever to be elected in London. I think it's from that bit where they brought in that ULEZ zone, which was so unpopular with people. And I think we've got Danielle later, haven't we?
Yeah,
yes.
She's coming on 11, isn't she?
Okay, great. So Danielle Nichols will be here as well. Is she in the studio via Zoom? She's via Zoom, so that means that my train ticket to Manchester was not a waste of money because I will not get the lift home. Okay, well, look, it is a momentous night, but also we've got an interview which we're not going to show you all of tonight, but the Sun have had an exclusive interview with Greg Wallace, and we'll show you a little bit of a taster of it later in the show.
It's embungoed and exclusive here with the Sun, obviously.
First of all, let's go to Ben Habib, because I think this is an interesting and momentous thing that's happened in the last 24 hours. Reform have won their first seat in London. Now, look, I know that you're no longer aligned to Reform, but it seems like the two-party system is starting to fall apart. What with the Corbyn thing, what with all the work you're doing, and what with Reform marching on the way it's marching on. A shake-up to the political system has been long overdue.
I completely agree, and I absolutely cheered Reform on in the local elections. Obviously I'm not part of Reform, but I cheered their victory because it proved, as you've just said, Andre, that the two-party system is broken. And I would argue that actually Reform didn't win those elections as much as the Tories and the Labour Party lost them. And of course, what it's opened up the landscape to is a multi-party system. And there will be shake-up, and it's high time that there is shake-up in the political landscape, so that the British people are actually given a genuine choice rather than, shades of grey of an established ideology.
But really, it's a two-party system. It's now Reform and the Uniparty, isn't it?
Well, that's a very good way to put it, actually, Ash.
Thanks, man.
Because, no, you're absolutely right. Because many people, but that's right. Yeah. Many people say the Conservatives are on the right-hand side of politics and Labour on the left. They're not. No. It's not left and right that is the polar opposites. What we've got now, the globalists, of which the Conservative Party is one, and then you've got those of us who believe in the nation state. And Reform isn't quite there, and I don't want to talk about Reform too much, but I'm firmly in the nation state camp. And, so it's nation statists versus globalists. And, so you're absolutely right, Ash.
Could it never happen that all the right parties, because, you're pretty close. I know there's been a big, broigus between you all, but couldn't you all come together for the good of the country? Because that would just add strength, and that would be, curtains for that. But
I think you've got to have a unified political philosophy.
Yeah.
You've got to believe in the same things. And if you don't believe in the same things, if there's room for further weakening in the United Kingdom's position, if we continue down the road on which we've been going for the last 30 years, we will run out of road, frankly. We're really in the last chance saloon, I think, for this country. And we need strong, serious, principled politics to rescue the UK. And, populism is a great thing because it appeals obviously to the popular vote, but you've got to take populism to the next stage, and the next stage of populism is coming up with the framework, policies and legislation which will actually deliver for the country. You've got to start at some point to become statesmen.
One thing that worries me, Ben, is this, and I don't know if I should say this, but I am going to. I had dinner with somebody I worked on the same corridor as when I worked at the House of Commons, and he said to me, I'd never go back into party politics. I'm sick of it. I'm glad to now be in my business and whatever. And I said, well, it's interesting, Reform are critically understaffed. They definitely need people for the Welsh Government. They need people for the House of Lords as well. That man is Sir Jake Berry. And 3 days after the dinner, suddenly decided he'd defect to Reform. I worry that there are people jumping on the bandwagon because I'll be totally honest with you. I like Jake very much. He used to work here, but the minute the words House of Lords appeared in the conversation, he was immediately back in party politics, heavily engaged and excited.
Well, of course, the great thing that the opportunity Nigel Farage will have is to ennoble people. As a leader of a party with a number of MPs in Parliament, he will have the ability to ennoble people. It's quite ironic, really, because the system turned its back on Nigel Farage. The easiest way to have dealt with him many years ago was to ennoble him.
Yeah, that's right.
But he refused it, didn't they offer it? And he knew he'd be taken out the game. It was a cunning... It was on the table, though, wasn't it?
No, I will tell you, and Ben Habib knows this full well, after the Brexit referendum, he'd have bit their arm off for a peerage, and they could have got rid of him.
But isn't it so ironic that he's now in a position to grant peerages?
Absolutely.
I think it's terrific. But, someone like Jake Berry is a very good example. Jake Berry was a Remainer. He was pro-lockdown. He's pro-net zero. He is the opposite of everything that reform should stand for. And that's why, just coming back to your earlier point, that's why we do need the system really shaken up. What we need is serious, as I mentioned, serious principled politics. A party with integrity, which won't shift its ground, which will tell the British people precisely what it stands for, and then it will do that in government that it promised to do.
But I'll tell you what I'd like to see, Ben, and I think in an age of communication you can do it. People talk about tactical voting all the time. There's no reason now why individuals can't win parliamentary seats. Now, I don't mind about the umbrella of a political party, but we've had a period now where identikit politicians get elected absolutely everywhere. I think now, with an age of communications, we have the ability to bring in some individuals, some different people, some interesting people.
People who've done something.
And maybe even have, lo and behold, somebody going, oh, I'm voting for Ben Habib, or I'm voting for Asher Gould, rather than just, I'm voting for Nigel Farage or Kemi Badenoch or Keir Starmer, i.e. forgetting that their local MP is important.
And if I may say so, you've hit on another really important point. Actually, Parliament should be made up with a whole load of people who've been elected on their own merit. And then one of them should be able to garner the support of the others through good argumentation and presentation of a vision. And he should be able to inculcate faith in himself in a majority in the House of Parliament. And that's how you should govern. But we've ended up in a two-party system, which worked for many years because the parties actually represented the various the two constituencies for which they broadly stood. The working class and the sort of endowed business upper class, whatever you want to call them, the Labour Party versus the Conservative Party. But again, as you said, it became the uniparty and they stopped representing those two constituencies. And we should go back. It would be a tremendous thing if we could get rid of party politics, actually.
But we've always had parties. We had the Whigs, and we've always had a party system.
But hang on a second. Let me ask you this question. Why is it, right? Let's ask this question. Just a fundamental way you could change Parliament. If I go round to your house now, Ben, and threaten you, blackmail you, I say, and I'm making this up, I know you had an extramarital affair. If you don't vote Conservative at the next election, I'm going to expose that. That is a serious criminal offence, by the way. He didn't have an extramarital affair. I'm just making up an example. However, if I was the chief whip in the House of Commons and I said to a parliamentarian, if you don't vote for my bill, I will expose you for having an extramarital affair, that would be entirely legal. Now, hang on a second. How can it be a serious criminal offence to affect the result of the election and then it be wholly legal to blackmail politicians in the House of Commons and to a lesser extent in the House of Lords? I wonder whether a good way to deal with this is, first of all, stop national parties picking local candidates, and number two, criminalise the whip system. So it is like the United States of America, where the Prime Minister and the whip has to argue for each vote he gets.
I think these are great suggestions for parliamentary reform. Terrific. And, we've got a whip in the House of Lords, which is meant to be the conscience of the Commons. So if you're whipping the House of Lords, you haven't even got a proper check on the Commons. No. The House of Lords, at the very least, should be non-party. Yes. It should be people who are there because they care about the country and they want to protect it and they want to deliver it on to future generations. That's what its job should be. But it's been hijacked by party politics. Politics has actually become quite an impediment for the country. And One of the things that if we could do it, it may not be that easy to do, but one of the things that if we could do it would be, I think, desirable, would be to get rid of parties, frankly.
How do you see, we've got 4 years of this bunch of this tyranny to come. How do you see it panning out? Is there going to be any way of having an early general election because the country might be in such a bad state? How do you see it panning out next 4 years?
I think the only way to get an early general election is if we have complete civil unrest on the streets is one way, obviously. And the other way, and perhaps the more likely way, is the United Kingdom having to go to the IMF cap in hand to get a bailout. You know, we are in deep, deep financial trouble.
That's likely to happen, isn't it now?
So Ben, that's an interesting question. By the way, I'll tell you how you can get rid of political parties. Take them off the ballot paper. Do you remember in the 70s when you didn't? But anyway, my dad says that if there is an IMF bailout, the IMF will insist on the United Kingdom rejoining the EU. Now, he is not a conspiracy theorist, but he says, let's be clear, Keir Starmer would be quite happy with that.
I would like to think that your dad's wrong, because the prime mover in the IMF is the United States of America. And the US, perhaps in the last administration, would have required us to join the EU, rejoin the EU. But Trump is anti-EU. And actually, I think he might require the United Kingdom to go in the opposite direction. The conditions of a bailout, I think, would probably be a general
liberalisation.
Well, it would be, I think, getting rid of DEI, putting our borders up, investing in our military.
Paying partly for the NHS is one of the rumours, that if we have to go cap in hand to the IMF.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, well, they would kick our backsides, and rightly so.
It's what we need, really.
I mean, let me ask you this question more than anything else. Right, I was watching Dan Hannan, now Lord Hannan of Kinclair, in the House of Lords. It's actually quite a good YouTube channel to watch. Yeah. And he was saying that the fundamental problem with Britain today is that when you pull the lever of power as a government minister, nothing happens. When you tweak the knob, you discover it's been disconnected. And actually what's happening is, in elections, we are voting time and time again for people who are genuine, who have a genuine desire to do whatever it is for the country. But none of it will ever happen simply because the reforms of 1997 and onwards under Tony Blair, the stakeholder democracy, guarantee that whichever way you vote, absolutely nothing will change. If you and I were elected tomorrow, assuming we didn't change the law, Ben, which we would, but imagine we were just thrown in as Home Secretary and Immigration Minister tomorrow.
There's no power.
The reality is we could do nothing about it. All we would do is go on the TV to be humiliated for our own failure. Now, slightly different if you can change the law and reform things, but the problem is these ministers are powerless compared to the courts and the civil service.
The civil service
who
running
now run
us,
the
isn't
country.
it? Yeah.
Oh, the permanent secretaries run this country.
Yeah.
The civil service, the quangos, the regulatory bodies which have been created hand over fist, and international institutions. Let's not forget the hand of the EU, the UN, the WHO, the World Bank, the IMF. All these people have influence in domestic British governance nowadays, which they used not to. And you're quite right to go back again. I'm finding myself in violent agreement with both of you gents, not for the first time. You're quite right to go back to 1997, which is the root, I think, of all evils in our system. And before we start reforming, actually what we've got to do is take out of the body of law all the stuff that Tony Blair and his successors did, pretty much all of it, repeal everything they did and go back to a pre-1997.
A great repeal act, like the 1830s, it's a great reform act, a great repeal act, just reverse the 1997 and then add on the laws we need.
The problem is we've become very confused. A Supreme Court that's not supreme, which thinks it might be supreme because it can't work out what a Supreme Court is. The whole thing's utterly ludicrous. But Ben Habib is sticking with us. We're going to run off just for a minute and then we're going to talk about whether Jeremy Corbyn is going to mix things up again.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
OK, well, this is the James Wales Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. Look, we had a bit of a debate in the break about this because people have been asking about updates on James.
I spoke to him today,
so
I messaged him.
He is in a hospice, but you've spoken to him today.
Yeah, I mean, we're sort of just taking the mick at each other. He's still got, he's got all his humour, it's all there, and he's in a good place, they're really looking after him at the hospice, and obviously there's a lot more care and drugs that he can have, so he's in a happy state, obviously very sad, but he's all right, his voice is gone. But, I may be going to see him this week if it's all right. And
we think, do we think it's unlikely that we will see him on the show again?
You just don't know with him, because remember he's been down, but it's probably likely, but you never know. He did a podcast today, so that was good.
Mind you, the other thing is about it, and this is the bit.
He said it was his last podcast, by the way.
This is what I always say about fingers crossed, because I know this is going to sound stupid, right? But that there are plenty of occasions in this age of medicine where new drugs get approved and people... I mean, there was that great story that Russell Howard told where he had a 14-year-old boy who we went to see who was one day from dying, and the new drug was improved by the National Institute for Clinical Excellence, which cured his problem, and he was out of hospital 2 weeks later. So it's not that miracles do happen, it's that the rate of technological advancement is so quick that even though he's in the hospice, even though he's lost his voice, even though we think it's unlikely he's coming back, there may well be something around the corner.
2-3 years ago they were saying you won't make next Christmas, and he constantly... I mean, we made it, his life show about 4 years ago. We've got to remake it again now.
I mean, it is quite bad the way...
He's a strong bloke, man. He's a strong guy.
It was really funny because actually this MBE ceremony, the oncologist had to stand up and say he's responded so well to treatment.
We're taking the MBE back.
No, he's responded so well to treatment, there's rumours that he's not ill. I can confirm as his oncologist. But anyway, we just thought we'd give you that quick update. But what I was going to say is to Ben Habib about the Corbyn party. What's your take on it, and where are you up to with your party? Because Advance UK is advancing, isn't it?
It is. Can I just say before that, what a wonderful chap James Whale is, and I hope he is comfortable in the hospice. And if he makes a remarkable comeback, that would be terrific. He never gave anyone an easy time, even those of us who thought that we were on the same sort of side of the political debate. He'd have a crack.
He always had a crack.
And also, if you got booked, so what people don't know, but Ben will know, obviously, if you get booked, what the producer will say is they'll say, right, Ben, you're coming on tonight to talk about X. If you go on the James Wales Show, there was no point in reading that briefing because you would be interviewed about whatever popped into his head in that particular moment. So it could be that you were intending to go on to talk about the visit of Donald Trump and ended up talking about figure skating. Therefore, you'd need and
it would be much better.
A broad array of knowledge to do the interviews. But anyway, talking of people who go off the rails sometimes. What about Jeremy Corbyn? Now, Jeremy Corbyn, by the way, look, he said in that interview that he got Labour membership up to 600,000 and it's probably down to 200,000. I think that he's the gap year student that never grew up, but by God, does he have support?
He does. So, I mean, just a couple of things, not to want to burst his bubble necessarily, but, if you click on Your Party website or, the URL for his the
Fruit and Nut Party,
Yeah, you're basically invited to register as if you would register on any normal website. You don't have to part with any money. You don't have to sign up to any principles. His party has no published constitution. It has no people to it. It's simply a registration process. So I think he's got something like 250,000 registered people already. It's a remarkable feat. But it
is just email addresses.
It's just email addresses, people who want to stay in touch. There may there may be as many people who disagree with him registering, just to keep an eye on what he's up to.
Yes.
If you're with me. So I don't think you can read too much into it. But what is happening is undoubtedly, as you started the show with, Andre, a splintering of politics. And I think it should be very healthy, because lots of different views will now be debated. And the people will have the opportunity to support parties which they didn't have a chance, support views and people in parties that they didn't have a chance in the past to do. And Jeremy Corbyn is going to be part of that landscape. And actually, from my position, sitting as leader of Advance UK, great. I hope he breaks the Labour vote in half, which is already suffering. And that creates a better opportunity for those of us who believe in the country on the other side of politics to actually win the case for our form of governance. And if we can do that, terrific. He may be helping.
Do you think Starmer's really panicking now? I mean, he's maybe more of a threat, an equal threat with Farage.
I agree. Starmer is toast.
Yeah.
Let's just get this straight. No one needs to worry about a second Labour government. The Labour government ain't coming back. They're a one-term government, and they're done. Even with their now, how many times in history could you have had a 175-seat majority and within a year and be finished? British politics is in turmoil. Why are we in turmoil? It's because government after government has not delivered for this country. Every government stands in contempt of the people. The liberal elite who run this country are not delivering what the people want. And the people are going to go on requiring change, supporting smaller parties, breaking what we thought we could take for granted is something that would go on forever in this country, breaking all of that and saying, no, we want a change. Yeah. And so I think this is all a very healthy process.
But also, Ben, we live in a country where the hard-working people, the law-abiding people, the tax-paying people, the people that would run into machine gun fire at D-Day, the people that built the nation, they're the enemy.
They have become the enemy
of this country. We've got people who struggle to get legal aid when they get allegations of wrongdoing against them, and yet Levi Belfield can spend 200 grand trying to sue the Home Office so he can have his wedding in prison.
Well, I saw a guy tonight talking about his mate who's a postman who's sick of it. He's worked all his life, paid his taxes, getting up in the rain and the snow, and he was saying he could never afford a £400 a night hotel, and yet all his taxes are paying for people who've just arrived to go and move into this Canary Wharf palace.
It's unbelievable, and no wonder the people are upset, therefore. And you talked about the working class being turned on by the Labour Party. The very people that Starmer accuses of being white, far right, difficult antagonists on the streets, they're the people who will save this country if we end up in war. They're the people who will put themselves forward to sign up and fight for this country. It won't be those people who are in hotels at vast cost, cost of the taxpayer. Yeah. And we've got to remember that. We've got to, the politicians who represent the people have to reconnect with the people. And without wishing to repeat myself, the Labour Party and the Conservative Party worked when they were in touch with their constituency.
They hate them now, though, don't they? They want the Davos thing. They hate us.
They've turned their back on the people. And that's why we're in turmoil. All my life, we were the bastion of sensible politics in the world, a beacon of stability and sensible thinking, and you could always rely on the United Kingdom.
Well, the modern world come from this country-industrial revolution, the English language, the clothes we wear, the sports we play, the whole lot, the whole culture of the modern world.
Absolutely. And I just want to say this. My son sent me a photograph today, a photograph of HMS Nelson from 1942. Testing its guns. It was a destroyer in World War II. And it's a magnificent ship. And it was firing off its guns. And I thought, that's the United Kingdom we want. A United Kingdom that stands tall and proud and capable. in the imagery of HMS Nelson's, I saw everything that the people of this country want back again. And we've squandered it. HMS Nelson was what we were, and now we can't stop dinghies in the blooming channel. What the hell have we become?
That is a remarkable thought, isn't it? Because I would question, look, if the Royal Navy can't stop small boats, what is the point of the... I mean, I'm being facetious. We all know it can. But why doesn't Vladimir Putin get 15 small boats and come and invade the United Kingdom? Because
probably already has.
One would assume... Well, I mean, of course...
We have sleeper cells, Russian sleeper cells murdering already in this country.
I'm 100% certain that part of the migration crisis we got has been created by Vladimir Putin, by the Wagner Group, pushing people out of North Africa into Europe, causing disruption. They tried it from Belarus to Poland. This would be, you know, why wouldn't they do it? And they know we've lost the will
you know what
to
else?
represent ourselves.
The Wagner Group, they're actually, there was a fire in a factory that makes weapons for Ukraine. They hired one of these street gangs. The Wagner Group paid them and they torched the place, just a British street gang. So this is how they're infiltrating us now. We've got so much weakness in this country. And all these electrical power station mystery fires.
I do worry about that we've got all of these. It's like the way Christian churches keep burning down in France. It's just that it's remarkable that it's suddenly happening. OK, look, Ben, are you OK to stay with us for another 10 minutes after this break?
Sure, absolutely.
OK, you know, when you ask people that, they can't do anything about it. But Ben is normally a willing victim.
Yeah, he is.
OK, we'll be back just in a moment.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
OK, let's talk about this amazing Greg Wallace story. The Sun have got an exclusive interview with Greg Wallace. We're not going to be able to show all of it, but this is a worldwide television premiere.
The world's been waiting for this.
OK, but in reality, it's a short clip of the interview with Greg Wallace. Take it away, guys at The Sun.
Was I really that much of a baddie that this...
Yeah, well, and that really was a small clip. Just a little taste.
Is that it?
You broke the video. I told you, use the Betamax.
That is not the entirety of the video. OK, well...
we'll find it in a bit now. We're going to try again. Press play, rewind it, turn it off and on, and let's go.
No, just for the clip. Let's go, because they won't be watching, don't worry. So, The Sun have got an exclusive interview with Greg Wallace, and we've got just a couple of seconds of it. This is a worldwide premiere. Take it away, guys, from The Sun.
Was I really that much of a baddie that this did? I don't know. Maybe I was. And if I was, I'm really, really sorry. It didn't appear like it at the time.
Oh, he's quite emotional there.
He is quite emotional. I don't think he did anything that bad as well. A few off-colour remarks. I mean, come on.
But anyway, wearing his pants.
We've still got... well, if he's getting changed, he's
he
not...
didn't like the labels, yeah.
OK. Now in the studio by councillor Alan Cook. He's one of our contributors and he is the first ever person to have been elected as a Reform councillor in London. There are some people who've defected from other parties. But
Mazel tov. Congratulations.
Alan, congratulations. Was the count last night or today?
The count was actually this morning.
Yes.
So, yeah.
You only
last
just
night,
found out this
morning.
afternoon, sort of?
No,
Oh, in the
we
middle of the
found
night?
out about 12:30.
Today?
1 o'clock in the morning. So,
Oh, right, okay.
so
You knew
it
you
was
were gonna
very,
win by
very
then.
early.
Yeah.
No, we didn't know we were going to win
Was
at
it a
all.
landslide? I mean, were you well?
It was, we won by 181 votes.
That's not
However,
It's about 10%, is it?
it was about 10% because in a general that is nothing, but
Yeah,
actually in a local council election when you have a 28% turnout,
Yeah,
it's over 10%, as you say. It's huge. And but we didn't know. You know, all our canvassing put us ahead, but. It's the first time we've done canvassing.
And why do you think you
for a
did so
general.
well? Is it just so obvious that people are basically
Is it just
supporting you and
ULEZ?
no one else?
ULEZ was mentioned a few times, but no, it's a lot.
In the words
more
of
than
Margaret
that.
Thatcher, ULEZ if you want to.
Is it the
ladies
demographics? What's the demographics in the area?
It's
where-
another story that ULEZ may end on the 3rd of September, but
Excellent, excellent.
that's a
So-
big,
so-
long
so
story.
look-
No, it was basically local issues and national issues. Without both, we probably wouldn't have won. So, no, it's...
So I had an argument with Pete Barnes last week because he is determined that the Conservatives are back, are going to be successful. I think it's nonsense. But where does Reform go from here? Because my view is Reform are ahead in the polls, but they're not massacring Labour. But my view is that they'll go from strength to strength because of people like you, because there's more, bluntly, sergeants, if you like, rather than just having the generals and the enlisted men. There's something in between now.
Well, thank you for saying that, but it's both. And what we saw with the Tory party was they destroyed themselves by not being a small C Conservative party. And what we did is actually point out to the electorate that they are not that. The party moved away from
They're
their
big
core
Cs.
voters. Oh, careful. And on the Labour side, you know, Labour historically have been the party for the working class, and clearly they've moved away from them, so their core voters have left hanging.
Yeah.
So they've come to us. So what both of these parties have done is left a bloody big void in the political spectrum for us.
I mean,
And
I think
filled
Ben,
that.
I think Ben, it's big states versus small state people, isn't it? It's this left versus right thing doesn't work.
Ben Habib's here to
Hi, Ben.
celebrate with us.
Huge congratulations, Alan.
Thank you.
I've just discovered right now that you've been elected. I think it's terrific. Alan and I have campaigned shoulder to shoulder many times together, and I'm delighted that you've had that success. It's terrific. And I completely agree. It's the main parties have turned their backs, as we were saying earlier in the programme, on the constituencies that they used to represent. And that is why British politics is in turmoil. That's why the Labour Party and Conservative Party...
But can I be a bit nasty here? I mean,
Be nasty.
Yeah, well, have any of us changed our opinions on anything? Because here is the stupid thing, right? I mean, I'm embarrassed that I'm a former Conservative, but my views aren't any different to what they were when I was.
Yeah, but the Tories changed, haven't they?
On
You've thrown away from
on
the
my
party.
website, I put a big banner across it saying, "Don't change your politics, change your party."
Yeah.
And that, in a few words, that sums up how we all feel. All of these parties are moving away from their
From
core
their
voters.
grassroots, yeah, the Labour and Tories are.
100%.
What do you think it is, Ben? Because what's interesting is the Labour Party are most egregious because the Labour Party hates their own voters. What they like is Islington elites. They're interested in transsexualism or whatever it is. You know, these middle-class hobby horse subjects. They're not interested in the working class. I mean, they're interested in British Steel is they don't have one. I went to Port Talbot and saw the place. I mean, it was depressing what had happened. That it's all net zero. It's all LGBTQ. It's all DEI, whatever it's called. That's all it is.
And it's not democratic. I mean, we're told we've got to have the net zero now, and to take it away from the democratic route, they give it to these international, like the UN or the W.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so
look
that's
at-
how
look
they
at
use it. Oh, well, it's international law. We can't do anything about it. It's not our fault.
Look at the ruling from the International Court of Justice 2 days ago, saying that countries can sue each other if they believe another country hasn't adhered to its net zero targets.
Well, that's exactly it.
But hey, hang on, guys. You said it's not democratic, but
Well, that's not, is
the,
it? They'll
the
use
Labour
that.
Party had net zero in their manifesto, as has the Tory Party.
Yeah, but
both of these parties are destroying the economies in this in this country.
But they know the public.
And it is democratic because people voted for it.
I know, but well,
They may understand now that they've made a mistake.
Yeah, but they can now say,
He's
look,
changed.
it's not. He's changed already.
He's changed
It's taken one day.
So it's not a line of argument I'd use. I think it is anti-democratic, the whole net zero thing, because it's been foisted on the British people, effectively through international treaty and international organisations. The ICJ being a really good example.
Let me now ask Ben. Let me ask Alan this. Alan, you've got to be. Whilst you were running over here, and thank you so much on such an important day for getting over, but whilst you were coming over here, I was quoting Daniel Hannan, who said the big problem is when a minister gets put into a position and he pulls a lever of power, he discovers it's not attached to anything, which I think is a reasonable point to make about the Home Office. You will go in as a reform councillor, and what people don't know is many councillors do have executive power. You have the power to change budgets and things like that. But it's going to be incredibly difficult, particularly at local council level, because unfortunately, a lot, and I'm not being critical of you, by the way, I'm a former local government advisor. The problem that you will have is there is so much regulation from the EU which is still in force. There's so much net zero stuff that for you, highlighting issues is probably going to be the sum total of what you're going to be able to do. Obviously, you'll vote against net zero. Obviously, you'll vote against council tax increases. But it's going to be hard.
I'm the pathfinder, you know. I'm going in as the lone voice in Bromley Council. And
which of course means, and I don't mean to be rude, you've got nobody.
He's going to be rude.
No, but you've got nobody to second your proposals.
I've got two jobs there. I need to look after the people that have voted me in.
Yes.
Simple. And do the bloody best I can to look after them.
What are you going to do?
But my second job is to see what is wrong with the local council.
But what are you going to do?
In May next year, the whole of Bromley Council comes up for election.
Yes.
So I can get in there, find out what's right, what's wrong, who's right, who's wrong, and then we'll have a much better idea that we can feed back to the public and what they need to do.
Asher, and you'll be able to ask questions and things like that and get information. But what will happen is they'll do what they always do, which is Councillor Cook would like to make that proposal. Is there anybody to second it? No, there isn't. We're not going to debate that subject. So that is going to. But that's what the
until May.
But what are you going to?
And what I can do is publish. You know, we're all about transparency, so I can let everyone know what's going on inside the council.
So are you going to do? I mean, we saw the council are powerful in Epping. They managed to put pressure on the Home Office because of all the troubles to get rid of the migrant hotel, or maybe. What's your views on that, and how is it in your area? Do you have those hotels in your area, and what are you going to do about it? And DEI, what things are you going to do?
We have no DEI. We have none of those hotels. It's actually a reasonably well-run borough. We've just won Kent, and that was a Tory borough. It was reasonably well as well. We won 57 councillors. The Tories won 5.
Right.
There's a massive sea change in public opinion. It's enormous. And we have the audit team down there. They're finding a lot of worrying things. So
but didn't Kent lose 50 million in Iceland?
They lost a lot, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And
Iceland, they're famous.
Not the supermarket.
No,
it's one of their wonderful investment ideas.
Kent County Council's investment strategy is, hey, have you got a blowtorch? Because we've got a pile of cash. Ben, I mean, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Because there's one thing that I know Anne Widdecombe was talking about, was bringing new people in. You've got somebody like Alan, who's had a career in business, successful guy, knows what he's talking about. He's not one of the usual suspects in the way that you're not one of the usual suspects.
You're absolutely right. And Alan is exactly the kind of guy that reform should be trying to clone right across its portfolio of people, as it were. We need more Alans in politics, fighting both at a local level and at a national level. Of course, some of the problems that Alan, you're saying that Bromley is well run, but, a lot of the problems which local authorities face are actually nationally driven.
Yes.
You know, if you go from one borough to another, they're all the same kind of problems. You know, drug abuse, law and order out of control, money laundering taking place through, you know, umpteen barber shops, nail varnishing shops and vaping shops, high streets completely broken and destitute, not enough housing, the wrong housing if you've got it, and so on and so forth. And these are all nationally driven problems. So we do need a government that can address those at a national level.
The one thing that I've always thought was most shameful of them all is what happens to Hillingdon Council. So first of all, you don't get any money for business rates if you're a local authority. You may collect it, but you give it back to government and then there's a settlement. So basically, there's no point in encouraging business in your area. But the worst one of them all is Hillingdon, where the Heathrow arrivals are all in Hillingdon. So these are people who are bogus asylum seekers and whatever. They all present themselves in Hillingdon, particularly children, asylum seeker children who burn their documents on the planes. They've got something like 3,000 of them, and they're going bust as a result of it. They get no benefit from the business rates of Heathrow Airport, but they have to pay for all the refugees that arrive. It's just crazy.
It is crazy. And Hillingdon are doing even more damage to themselves because they're prohibiting the conversion of good buildings into residential property and so on. I do a bit of business in Hillingdon, so I know the borough a bit. And they're difficult. They're not good, actually, for their own constituency. But, I mean, the fundamental problems that the country faces are national ones, and we need to resolve those. That's absolutely critical.
All right, Ben, thank you so much. That's Ben Habib, who is the boss, the leader of Advance UK. We're going to stick with Alan Cook because we want to talk a little bit more about this momentous moment. And it is a momentous moment because this is the first time that Reform UK have won a council election in London. Obviously, they're a fairly new party, but you may be aware of Reform councillors. They are people who've defected from other political parties. Alan is the first winner, and he's been a contributor on our show for some time. So we're going to chat to him straight after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
OK, so we're joined by Councillor Alan Cook, who is the newly elected member of Bromley Council for Reform UK. I'll tell you what, because this is a momentous moment, why don't you talk us through the whole thing? We know you as a contributor, but you have been involved in politics for some time. What got you involved in reform? What got you involved in politics? Why are we sitting here today?
You want the whole story?
I think so. Why not?
All right, OK. Well, I stood for the Brexit Party in 2019 in Old Bexley and Sidcup, where I grew up, and for obvious reasons, because Brexit was needed. And after that, I had to stand down because of the deal that Boris and Nigel did. And after that, I actually went to the Tory Party, thinking Brexit was done. And I started the candidacy procedure, and so got onto that. And then I was in the Commons. I'm in various APPGs, so I'm in the Commons quite a bit. And I was having a coffee with Sir David Davis and Sir Bill Wiggin, and we're talking about immigration because they were both doing their own immigration bills at the time. And but I put to them that, you know, you are aware that under international law we can actually pick them up as we're doing now, and instead of dropping them off at Dover, we could actually drop them back at Calais.
Yes.
And they both agreed with me.
Yes, they did.
However, they said not the political will within the party to do it. But they added, and this was a real kick in the teeth, this one, that it wouldn't look good internationally. So that was the week I left the Tory party and I joined
But
Reform
didn't you
UK.
say, well, it doesn't look good nationally, which is where our voters are? And that's what's
They don't,
going on.
but these are global socialist parties.
we were at a
you know,
dinner.
they don't care about this country.
But they do now, don't they?
We were at a dinner because we go to. You've joined my little parliamentary club, which raises money for the Scouts. Well, it doesn't. There's parliamentary rules, but anyway, money goes to the Scouts by a mechanism
Before we get there.
Yeah, compliant
Yes.
in Parliament.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have speakers of all parties there because it's a non-political group, and rightly so. But James Cleverly stood there and Lois Perry asked him a question. Lois Perry started asking about the small boats and whatever, and he said something which was interesting but needed a comma rather than a full stop at the end of it. He said, I get very annoyed because I got blamed for things that weren't my fault. When I went into the Home Office, I said, I would like to stop the small boats, blah, 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 blah. And I was told, I'm sorry, Home Secretary, the law is that you can't do anything about it. At which point, he stopped talking. But of course, that shouldn't have been a full stop. It should have been a comma. And then he says, which is why we changed the law. Right. But of course, what's amazing about all these people, he's standing up. He knows his party has been decimated over this. And yet he still won't do the comma, change the law, full stop. Why not?
Is that short-termism? I mean, why is it?
Well, we're not the Chinese Communist Party. We can't make a 50-year plan, can we? But,
although we've
That's
tried.
no good for the country, is it?
but we have to live with short-termism because it's part of democracy.
Yes.
So we have no choice there. But
That's why we end up with a terrible NHS with no long-term.
well, no, not necessarily. We could take the NHS and take it out of party politics and have a cross-party thing looking after it.
There's no chance that. I remember in 1987, my dad gave me out Labour leaflets which said, if Margaret Thatcher is re-elected, she will privatise the NHS. Right. They've been saying it for 60 years, and it works. If we have a debate about any right-wing issue other than the NHS, we get messages in supporting. The minute we say the NHS, everyone has been convinced by the Labour Party that if we reform the NHS, people will die on the streets.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why we need the IMF to order us to do it. Again, putting it outside democracy, and actually would do us good, telling us you're going to have to start paying for a bit for the NHS if we have to go capping.
How do we get from boats to the NHS? We're talking about these boats getting here.
Well, short-termism, isn't it? It's
yeah,
the short-termism thing.
With the boats, France has the same reckless endangerment laws as we have. Yeah. We can quite happily just pick these boats up because they're not ocean-going vessels.
Yes.
They don't have the equipment on the boats. They're in the busiest channel in the world. So we can pick them up, take them to France and say, arrest the pilot of that boat.
But for reasons of national security, we can just say you're not coming in, and for good reasons.
Between us, we could probably find 12 reasons why we should be doing that.
We stopped it from Belgium.
All we're doing is actually saying, yes, the government and the following government.
Is there a nefarious plan, though? Do you think there's a WEF, Davos sort of world plan? It was happening in America, wasn't it, in New York?
That I don't have information on, but what I can see in front of my eyes is that both governments we've had recently do not put this country and its citizens first.
No.
And that's clear as hell.
Is it cowardice? Is it spinelessness?
Difficult, both. I don't know. I don't know what the nefarious plan is that you're talking about.
What do you think now, talking about, we've talked about the national issues, but you are a local councillor. What do you think the priorities need to be? Because I'll tell you what I genuinely think, and I know it's not just ULEZ, but ULEZ has been a huge thing. Concerns about it right across the country. There are some people listening to this and watching this who are in areas that have these ludicrous congestion charge zones. There are some people who aren't, but all of us are under threat of it. And it's been particularly disastrous in Bromley, hasn't it?
It's been unnecessary in Bromley because we have rolling fields. You go down to Biggin Hill, you can take a picture, you won't see a single house or a single car. You might see a road. And apparently the congestion there and the poisonous air is terrible. I bought a 1977 Daimler as my campaign car, and we went to all of the anti-ULEZ demonstrations with a sticker on the back saying this car produces plant food, you know, and it sort of brings it home. And I don't pay ULEZ on that car.
Was it the 4.2 extra?
It's a 4.2 straight 6,
nice.
Twin fuel tanks.
The Jag. Yeah, you press the switch.
Yeah, it's left and right.
My dad had one of them back in the 70s.
But it sort of highlights the folly of the whole thing. It's just a tax on the people that least can afford it.
Look, we've asserted this on the show before. I've always said that most people in politics really want to do the right thing by their community and fundamentally might be misguided. That's why I believe in this honourable gentleman. But I don't categorise Sadiq Khan in there. I think Sadiq Khan is a nasty piece of work who enjoys division and hatred. I always got the impression that he wanted to bring in the ULEZ to Bromley because he just didn't like the people of Bromley. Because as far as he's concerned, they're not his people, therefore he should give them a kicking. Because you always see everything that Sadiq Khan does, there's always a them and us to everything.
Yeah, but it's affected a lot of his own people, hasn't it?
Well, it's affected people outside the zone because some people worked in the zone, visited inside the zone, went to care for people inside the zone, went to the church inside the zone. So people outside
£12 a day.
Came under Khan's evil tax, even though they weren't in the area he controlled.
Next door to
and that is basically the sort of attack they should have used to actually not allow the extension. But no one had the balls to do it. However, I'm not really sure how much I can tell you, but on the 3rd of September...
He keeps tasting that.
It's possible that the LEZ, the low emission zone, and ULEZ may end.
Is that a legal thing? Is there a legal challenge?
There's been a number of legal challenges, and I have to say the one legal challenge which I thought was really interesting was the one where it says it simply doesn't say you have to pay a charge. I mean, that whole thing that was it the plumber from Sheffield or something like that? You know more about this than I do.
Scaffolder.
Yeah, and he was saying, but it doesn't actually say you have to pay anything, which is remarkable.
He won his case.
Yes.
He went to the
Have they actually paid him back?
adjudicator's court, and no, that's
They've
the
just
problem.
ignored
So what was that case?
For 2.5 years, they didn't pay him
What's
back.
the argument
So he
made
took it to Bedford.
He made the point that if you see the signs for ULEZ or the LEZ zone or whatever
It was just Les.
it doesn't say you have to pay a charge to come
It's
into
a blue sign with Les written on it, and that means different things to different people.
Yeah, the signage was wrong,
It doesn't meet the requirements for a
The
charging
Highways Act.
scheme.
Yeah, right,
But
okay.
what you can do is actually have a sign authorised, and that's what TfL did. They had a sign authorised. But then they used a different sign.
And so that messed it
So
all up.
that is the problem.
Interesting.
So there's not enough information on that sign to actually operate as a charging scheme. And it was proved unlawful. And
But TfL ignored the ruling.
no, they ignored the fact that they should be paying this guy the money back. And so then he went to Bedford Crown Court and no, not Crown Court, Bedford County Court. And they actually seconded what the adjudicator said and said yes, TfL need to pay the money back. So, but that only takes it up to April 2021, where the date of his adjudicator's court. So what he's doing now is a part 8 claim to bring that to today's date and to incorporate the ULEZ, which has also got the same systemic
Would
problems
other
with
people
the
then be
signage.
able to,
They should do, but
retrospectively
of course,
claim it back?
But of course, what TfL have done is not paid.
100%. So up until for the LEZ, which is £100 if you want to take your commercial.
Oh, a lorry, yeah.
And it's £1,000 fine if you don't pay the 100. So actually, up until from 2016 to 2021, April 2021, you can actually ask for your money back for your fees and fines on LEZ.
Yeah.
So, but you need to follow the right sort of procedure. So.
Do you see, I mean, with your win and with people like in Reform, you know, Nigel and Rupert Lowe, do you see now we've got more professional, not professional politicians, people who've actually done something in their lives and actually have thoughts in their head rather than...
Well, that's how our whole plan, isn't it? We don't want lifelong politicians. We want people who've actually experienced real life, experienced business.
Like it used to be.
And, well, 100%.
Career politicians who start at 18 as someone's, you know, assistant.
Although to be fair, you did lack those people as well, you know, the councillor base, the professional staff base. It's amazing how you built it from nowhere. I mean, I was saying to a very good friend of mine, I went, well, you know, this year Youssef, he hasn't got a prayer of getting what is it? Even 200 parliamentary associations off the ground. They went, he's got 400 now. I was like, it's a remarkable thing, and I think it is good that
we could have more, because we're at a position now we could actually split some of the borough branches.
Yes.
But actually we're saying no. Actually, they operate quite well. So we could have an awful lot more branches than we have. We have well over 400. But to actually say no, it works quite well. Let's leave it.
What will happen is there will be, say, a Wigan Reform Party which will encompass the parliamentary seats of Wigan, Makerfield and Lee, even though so it will be the borough rather than the individual parliamentary constituency.
We are flexible. We'll decide what
based
we
on
want to do, when we want to do. So yeah, whatever's best for the branch.
You're
in the area.
professionalised, though. I mean, when you look at UKIP and those sort of parties at Nigel, they're always a bit dodgy and a bit funny people in it. And now, what has made it the professional? Was it the due diligence they did in picking people out? And now they actually seem above the Tories and Labour. In terms of why has that happened? What's the driver of that? Is it
Do you know what Farage said? Do you know what Nigel Farage?
Big generalisation.
Farage has publicly said the following: that when he had people like Dr. David Ball, when he had people like Alex Phillips to be his members of the European Parliament, he said the people I've always wanted never took my call to run because UKIP was seen as a bit of a joke, and actually the Brexit Party was different. That's what he said.
Well, David Ball, fantastic. Alex Phillips, fantastic. You know, and the other people we had in with the MEPs, you know, Belinda Lucy, they're absolutely fantastic people. Yeah. So, you know, he's got a great sort of group of people he can call on. But we're calling on the whole country, and you know, in Bromley,
it's snowballing, isn't it? So you're getting actually more and more good people.
Well, we're still in this sort of embryo stage. You know, we're a very, very new party.
Yeah.
And you know, IT-wise, we're growing, we're getting better. You know, we won Bromley without a proper canvassing system. And what we did there was, you know, as you said, it's absolutely monumental. We rolled up onto the Tories' back garden with our little tank. And they brought the big gun down, they brought Kemi down, and that is a huge roll of the dice. For the leader to go to a provincial by-election in the suburb.
It might have had the reverse effect.
She's risking her own career. Because, you know, she's going down thinking that her being there is going to make the difference for the win.
What she will have is what you don't have: vote source, which is connected to every phone of the members that get it. Vote source will literally on polling day say, here are the people who are going to vote Conservative, here is their likelihood of voting. It will also say, here's what to say when you knock on their doors, what to tell them, and all of the campaigners will have it connected, and they're putting it in real time. It's
from the heart. We're talking, you know, I go to sleep thinking, you know, hi, I'm Alan Cook, I'm the Reform UK candidate for this by-election, and so I've said it 2,000 times in the last 2 weeks.
But that's the way to do it. It's technology reliance.
It's on your phone. So that's what we've done. We've had across the board, you know, every race, creed, colour and age you could possibly imagine in our small little team, going around, knocking on doors, talking to people, and we're very well received. And it did the job. And even when they send the big guns down, you know, they still lost.
I've got to say to you,
how damaging is that going to be for Kemi? You know, the fact that she's decided the roll of the dice, she gambled and she said, I'm going to go there and make the difference to make that win. She went there and they still lost.
Well, we've got to say congratulations to Alan Cook, who becomes the first Reform UK member to be elected in London. So he's almost like the opposition to Sadiq. Congratulations, Councillor Cook.
Good evening and welcome to Plank of the Week. It's the one show where you do not have to be worried about judgmental people because we'll do all the judging for you. Let's just have a look at how Humphrey Useless is now spending his time.
There goes your career, mate.
Over there a bit is over towards where all the migrants come in. He's jumping there. There he goes. He goes over the bar.
Hello,
and
lady.
unfortunately, it catches on his Johnson.
If he's plank of the week, he's got a sizable plank.
Yes.
That's a whole different show.
Plank of the Week, Fridays at 7 on Talk.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, this is the paper review with Andre Walker, Asher Gould, councillor Alan Cook, and Danielle Nichols. Danielle, how are you?
Hi!
You all right?
Is there not enough of us?
Yeah, man.
Your house is looking beautiful tonight.
No, that's a backdrop. You get that on Zoom.
No.
She selected
this is
that.
my actual house.
Is it? It's a beauty.
So, okay, Danielle, so what? I'll tell you what, do you know what? Anyone who watches this paper review knows how fake it is. Danielle, what stories have you noticed in the paper today, i.e. that got emailed to you 2 hours ago by the producers?
You know what? It's funny you should say that because I was actually finding my own funny stories and then, of course, Joe sends
Oh,
me...
that's what they all say.
No, and Joe sends me some and a couple of the same, so yeah, so we were both thinking along the same lines. But can I just say hi to Andy in the studio? I've really, really enjoyed listening to him, and I think he makes an awful lot of sense.
Sorry, Alan in the studio.
Sorry, Alan, sorry. Sorry, Alan. Sorry, Alan, got your name wrong straight away.
Right.
We had a bit of time where we were staying in Bromley for a bit, and we've got some friends there. And it's a lovely place to live, and I just think a lot of what you were saying made an awful lot of sense.
I mean, it's amazing, though, isn't it, the way these traditional parties break down. You, for a long time, were a big supporter of the Labour Party. I think the Labour Party have let down Northern England pretty badly. Conservatives have let down Southern England. The way things are moving now, these political parties could well be dead. I mean, Corbyn... Look at Corbyn. You know,
I'd rather not.
250,000 people have signed up. He'll get all the Islamist votes as well, and that's not inconsiderable in this country.
You see, I think there always was a very north-south divide, and I think there always will be a north-south divide.
There needs to be.
Yeah, well, shut up, you.
But you are the north side.
I'm in the middle, yeah.
Yeah, you are the north side.
Yeah, you're slap bang in the middle. What are you on about?
Yeah.
But I just think it's really... I think nowadays that's not... such an important divide anymore because of the absolute mess it feels like Labour are making.
Yeah.
I think that all this, like, we're for the working man, which is what, you know, I grew up with, is just...
well, it's what it was invented for, the Labour Party.
Who's it for now?
I mean, champagne socialist, the Islington.
It's sad that, isn't it? Because the number of people, Danielle, who used to say to you, and you heard it all the time, my great-granddad founded the Labour Party. Now, OK, that's what everyone said, but there was a great feeling in places like Salford, in places like Lee. I mean, admittedly, you're from the posh bit of Salford, but in places like that...
Is there? Is there
I'm
one?
not from. I live in the posh bit of Salford now, but I'm not from the posh
But when you go round those working class areas, the Labour and Trade Union movement was something that they felt such a sense of pride in. They literally considered themselves, these families, to have founded the party.
I know it drives people insane when you say this, especially people like you who are massive Tories. But I honestly believe that the reason that they got in power like they did with Maggie was because she told the working man that she would let them get a house, that they'd be able to own their own house. She did that. Maybe at the expense of, not building enough council houses and at an expense of. However, what she did was she said, we're going to give you a chance to kind of work yourself out of poverty, like a chance to, because back in the day when my granddad's day, like no one owned their own house. You had to be really rich. Everything was rented. It was all like.
But it worked. What Maggie did worked. There were loads of working class people who, suddenly made it and became very rich.
Yeah,
like loads of money.
I know, and the thing is, I think. I've been listening to talk all day, and I was listening to Kevin. When you talk about like how much we are taxed,
it's crazy.
Actually outrageous, because I just can't see, especially travelling around like we do. What are we getting?
But also, it's not just direct tax. It's also energy. We pay 5 times what they do in America. We pay, 3 times what they in a lot of European countries. They're fleecing us like that. We don't even know it.
Where's it going?
Does anybody? It's just waste. It's waste, isn't it? What about that local council that said what is the largest amount you spend on transport to get a child to school? And I think it was Reform had asserted that they'd spent 155 grand a year on transport for one child, and they said it's never been more than 116. Oh well, in that case, but let's just be clear. The Adam Smith Institute does something called Tax Freedom Day. Now, many of you will know what it is, but for those who don't know what it is, it's the Adam Smith Institute. Imagine that you have to pay your tax first before you can put any money in your own pocket. And they imagine what day of the year would you have to work up to earn your first £1 that you can keep. Do we all understand that? 12th of June. The 12th of June.
Basically, about half the year is for them.
So if you had to pay the government first, you'd be paying them until the 12th of June before you earned even a penny.
And it was the Tories that actually started this, making the biggest tax take since the. So
just to be clear, Tax Freedom Day is 162 working days into the year. That is dirt, isn't it?
I wouldn't mind paying tax if they actually spent it properly.
No,
but it's wasted.
That's the worst bit about it.
So ideology, dogma, and it's all gone on vanity projects. It's crazy. Stick to the core.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, look, we've all had a bit of a love-in for Alan Cook, but what is your first story, Danielle?
Well, we've obviously got to talk about Ozzy, haven't we?
Have we?
Got to talk. Do you not think?
Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne, with Ash being on the show.
Oh yeah, you are the new Ozzy Osbourne now.
I mean, I knew his son from his first marriage, and I used to rehearse in a place where Black Sabbath and Tony Iommi, the guitarist, used to work for my grandpa in Aston at the typewriter shop.
I knew you would say something like that because I've got 5 things you didn't know about Ozzy Osbourne, and one of them weirdly.
One of them will not be he knew Ash Gould, because everyone knows Ash Gould.
I knew
he's like the Terry Christian of Birmingham. Everyone's met him.
Well, I hope not.
No, Ash said about his first wife. So many people don't know that he had 2 kids, and he adopted a son from his first wife.
I didn't know that.
So it's strange that Ash immediately mentioned that, because everybody knows the Osbournes, don't they, from the reality show, Amy Jack.
And they stayed in Birmingham, the first family. They're still there.
Are they? They're still in Birmingham. Yeah, because
last time I checked.
I loved when I watched an interview with Ozzy Osbourne. They went, "When did you first decide you wanted to be famous?" He went, "I didn't. I wanted to be a plumber." Right, fair enough.
But they invented heavy metal. It came from Black Sabbath. And what happened was Tony Iommi, his last job was at my grandpa's shop, and he told my mum, this is what happened. Basically, he was working in some steel place, and the metal came down, took off the tips of his fingers, and he had to adapt his playing, and that is actually how it happened. So
Really?
a piece of heavy metal caused the invention of heavy metal.
Is that what it's called, that?
Well, no, but it just happened. And he told my mum, and I've never seen it, but he said he had a glove on, and he took his glove off, and the fingertips were in the glove.
Ouch.
Is that a true story? Because I can never tell
true,
you, Ash.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Is
man.
it?
Yeah.
Well, another one is that he was arrested when he was just 17 years old.
A burglary.
Yeah, and because his dad wouldn't, couldn't pay to get him out, and so he served time in jail. He did about 3 months in jail when he was just 17 years old.
Do you remember when he was struggling with some drug or alcohol addiction, and Sharon hid all of his clothes, so he went out in drag, and he urinated on, what's it called, the Alamo? You know that fortress in Texas where they beat the Mexicans, and it's like the most treasured thing of the Texan state. And he was caught in drag, high, urinating on it.
He tried to kill Sharon once and got properly arrested and jailed for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said when they woke up, they said, you've been arrested for attempted murder. He goes, who have I attempted to murder? And they said, Sharon. He goes, oh, it's all right, she won't press charges. I mean,
do you know what, as well? I think Ken would like this, because he is actually a practicing C of E, and he used to pray before he did shows.
To Satan?
Well, no.
Yeah, but his Prince of Darkness thing was a bit of fun, wasn't it?
It was an act, yeah. It was just an act.
I mean, he wasn't really interested in Satanism. He was just somebody. I think actually, I mean, I don't know a lot about this island, but I think a lot of it is commentary on the darkness of the world, isn't it? That Birmingham industry, the heavy metal, and all that sort of thing. It was about. I mean, weren't the dark satanic mills of the song Jerusalem supposed to be cotton mills?
Are you not being too deep for
Maybe.
Let's
get Newsnight Review back. Yeah. Come on, Newsnight Review.
Look, I got a story in The Sun, and it's the Greg Wallace exclusive we've been talking about. I'm not a groper, sex pest or flasher, and John's not a racist. And former MasterChef host Greg Wallace has pleaded his innocence, telling The Sun in a tearful interview, I'm not a groper or a sex pest or flasher. The 60-year-old sat by the beam after probing to allegations of bad behaviour, said he wanted to clear his name, but is not looking to play the victim. He is backed axed co-host John T. Rhodes, saying, I know him for 30 years and he's not a racist.
Hang on a second. He doesn't want to play the victim. Should we just get that exclusive clip that we were allowed to show first of the interview with The Sun? This is a man not playing the victim. Go.
Was I really that much of a baddie that this did? I don't know. Maybe I was. And if I was, I'm really, really sorry. It didn't appear like it at the time.
Look what they've done to him.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we're meant to be
Chauncey.
unsympathetic. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, what worries me, Danielle, more than anything else, is the word sexual is used two ways. So look, there are people who are guilty of sexual assault or sexual abuse. They are, gropers and things like that. People guilty of sexual harassment have made off-colour remarks. Now, to me, there is a gulf of difference between sexually molesting somebody and making an when they behaved inappropriate sexually.
It's also working class blokes, you'll get it worse than if a sort of a middle class woman would say something and just totally get away with it. I mean, look at Nagam Chetty. Nothing happens to her for obvious, reasons at the Beeb. They cover everything. I mean, they've got worse examples than that. And then because he's a working class, there is a bit of a snobbery, don't you think?
Oh, sure there is.
Alan, in this, there's a sort of snobbery because he's a working class man.
Well, I knew some people that used to work with him, and when he was in the fruit and veg market, this took him decades ago. But we're making victims of everyone at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah,
if you got a complaint, make it at the time.
Yes.
Yeah,
Don't wait 10 years, 20 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
If you got a complaint, someone's being an arse, tell their boss, do it there and then. Don't come.
This is the thing I don't understand about
kind of like, why have we forgotten that people can't apologise and move on? And there's almost like this witch hunt thing that happens, and then everyone jumps on board.
Well, like John T. Rhodes, isn't it? I mean, John T. said he apologised at the time, although he said he couldn't remember it.
He sung a song.
Yeah.
Did the people that wrote the song get arrested?
No,
did every place that played the song get arrested?
No.
But because he sung.
Because he's
sung
a white
song.
man. If he wasn't a white man, then that wouldn't happen. So there is that as well.
So this is this is what's wrong with society at the moment.
I worry
And I
about
just
this.
think we've got huge problems in our country.
Yeah.
Huge problems with women, with domestic violence, with as you say, immigrants and children being assaulted, and these huge problems in this country, and a massively understaffed, underfunded police force, and we're running after a guy over in a.
What worries me, and Alan's going into local government, first day today. One of the things that worries me, and we see it very prevalently in local government, is where they go, "You're a bully," right? So if you remember an example that's not local government, but Dominic Raab. Dominic Raab maintains that his civil servants didn't want to do the job, and he told them that they had to do it, and of course they made complaints for bullying and wanted him vetoed. What no doubt will happen with you, because it happens with a lot of councillors, is when you try and enact a fulsome debate, they'll go, "Oh, he's bullying me, he's doing this." I think it's a deliberate ruse.
Take Mark Field, when he was at a dinner and people broke in and they were trying to get up to stage, and there was a lady and he stopped them. And then she tried again. So he had to actually be a bit more physical to stop her. Yeah. And then she tried again. See, she wasn't concerned or worried for her safety or well-being, because she kept on pushing against him. So in the end, he had to be quite physical. And he was, I think he lost his job for that.
Yes.
Didn't he? And if she was worried or concerned, she would have backed off and gone in the other direction.
Absolutely right.
So he stood his ground and just kept on stopping her. And he, in the end, as far as I'm concerned, was the victim.
Yes. Yeah, I think it happens an awful lot. Okay, let's go to a break. But this is a press preview with Andre Walker, Asher Gould, Danielle Nichols, and councillor Alan Cook, who he's changed. He's been.
He's got rid of his glasses. He's had a makeover. It's incredible.
You've given me water instead of the usual beer.
Water.
That's what it is.
That's not water. All right, we will be back in just a moment.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, so we've just discovered that your actual name is Terence.
Here we got Tell, the first voted for councillor in London.
Councillor Terry Cook from London. Yeah, right, Terry Cook. Terry.
Anyway, look,
I'm not going to tell you anything ever again.
This is an important story. Sort of some people overlook. Jewish comedy gigs at Edinburgh Fringe have been cancelled over safety concerns.
Oh, it's old chestnut.
Jewish comedians have had their Edinburgh Fringe shows cancelled because of staff safety concerns. All the barmen are scared for safety because there's a Jewish comedian. Rachel Krieger, I've met her, we might try and get her on. And Philip Simon were booked to perform at the Whistle Binkies venue during the festival. Mr. Krieger was set to perform her show, Ultimate Jewish Mother, while Mr. Simon was due to co-host Duo-Rama of Jewish Comedic Talents. However, the acts claimed they were informed that their gigs would be cancelled after bar staff at the venue expressed fears of feeling unsafe because of the Jews. It has been claimed that the concerns were raised after an announcement that the venue would receive extra police supervision amid continued worries over the safety of Jewish acts. Miss Krieger regularly features on BBC One Sunday, but anyway, blah-de-blah, they've cancelled it. It's very much a bit like what happened in Nazi Germany in the 30s. People started getting cancelled from things, and what's your views on this?
Well, they should go after the people that are threatening the premises or the
Correct.
acts.
They did it with Graham Linehan, didn't they?
Yeah, oh my God, yeah, and
For other reasons.
So they're sat there going, there is a danger the venue will be attacked. Let's apologise to the attackers. No.
Yeah.
Danielle Nichols, what do you think?
Dan, it's just common sense, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Alan, or should I call you Terence?
No, it's Alan. Alan.
Call him
Ignore
L.
these guys.
I'm joking, I've called you Andy at the start of the bloody thing.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I'm just thinking it's the commonsensical. You know, when did I hear it today? It wasn't just from
Thanks,
you, but
man.
someone else said about the boats, as in, it's illegal. Like, let's just follow the law and just stop people doing things that are illegal. It's madness. You can't cancel people because other people are going to do something that's illegal. I mean,
Yeah. It's like these protests where they say, oh, you look too Jewish, yet where they'll bus in, the police and the authorities will bus in agitators that cause the riots and then go and arrest.
How can you say you look too Jewish and that not be a
There was a
basic
principle.
thing to say?
There was a principle that's been brought in now. The guy burnt a Quran outside the Turkish consulate because he was stabbed. The judge in the case ruled, and this is quite honest and open, the judge ruled that the fact he was stabbed is proof that burning a Quran is especially offensive to Muslims, and therefore he should get an additional punishment over and above what he would get for burning any other book. So to be clear, the factor that made him the aggravating factor rather for him burning the Quran was that he was stabbed.
Sorry, is that a Monty Python sketch from the 70s?
No, that's real. You know the guy in the Turkish
I know
film?
it's real, but I mean, bloody hell, it's just
ridiculous.
like
That judge should be struck off, or magistrate. I mean, you were stabbed, so that proved that guy was really upset. I mean, what happened to that guy as well? He immediately got bailed, and the other guy didn't as well. The guy who burnt the Quran didn't get bailed. The guy ran out with the knife, and there was a delivery kid who tripped him up so the knife man could get to him, and then booted him in the face when he was on the floor. So it's not a very rare thing that these attacks happen.
It's proof of how we've gone absolutely slightly insane, I think, because
Can you go absolutely slightly insane?
Absolutely.
I don't think it's even slight.
I think because it's interesting because another story that I was going to bring up was about the shoplifting epidemic that's gone absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we chatted about this about a year or so back, Andre, because people will not go without. They won't. You put the prices of things up. People will not go without. They won't go, oh, we'll just go without that. What will happen is they will steal it. And this is what happens. So you push people into enough of a corner and they will steal it. And what we're doing now, we're that busy overwriting, instead of just stripping it back to basics, like Alan says, and going, that you can't do that because that's illegal. It's the reason people love Trump, because he just actually goes, do you know what? We're not going to do all the nonsense. We're just going to
we're deliberately seeking to make our country poorer,
Well,
Alan.
3 days ago, we released our big crime press conference, didn't we? And we were saying we're going to pretty much go down the route of Giuliani did in New York.
The broken windows policy.
And it's zero tolerance, and also there's 3 strikes and you're out. So 3 serious crimes, which require jail sentences, and then you get life.
But in the same place, letting people into the country that we have no idea. In fact, we're probably pretty sure that they've committed crimes in the country.
I'm talking about what we are going to do when we're
No,
in
you're talking
government.
about reform, just to be clear. What reform?
Oh, right,
Not, you know,
But there was someone who got
in
life in prison for nicking a slice of pizza because it was his 3rd crime. What do you think about that sort of thing?
no, that doesn't cover what I just said. It's if you 3 serious offences where you get actual proper criminal time, in jail. Then
you used
get
it
life.
for shoplifting, didn't you?
So
a small
but
amount of shoplifting.
not now. But zero tolerance. Shoplifting, forget £200. If you shoplift, we will put up. What they refer to. We had the hospitals, didn't we? We had the during COVID, we had Nightingale hospitals. So what we're saying, let's knock up some really quick Nightingale prisons.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is get rid of the foreign prisoners, send them back to where they should be spending time in their own country. The serious criminals, we can actually quite happily send them to Southern America. Cost them 50 grand a year to have someone in our prisons. We'll send them off somewhere it costs 5, 10, 15 grand a year.
Thing, and I always give the example of this very street. No, actually, this street's London Bridge Street. But imagine we were on Tooley Street. Tooley Street in London has a major problem with bag theft. Right, it has had a major problem with bag theft for a long time. You will have a street in your own town or city that is very similar. When bags get stolen, the police don't bother coming out because they go, well, the bag theft in of itself is not a very serious crime. There are thousands of them, yes. But it's not 50,000 people stealing one bag a year. It's 1,000 people stealing 50 a year.
You look for patterns. If you see a pattern, then that is the easiest crime to actually solve. What are the police doing? Why are they not doing this? What's happened to the intelligence in the police force?
Do you know what I could do? I could solve the bag theft problem tomorrow. Yeah. What I could do is, with a load of tags.
Guess what?
Just get some fake Louis Vuitton bags and just have girls walking around with them and popping down. And the reality is, it's organised crime. Can I tell you this front page of the Sun?
We could solve the boats coming over tomorrow.
Yes.
Because you need the will, political will. You can solve phone theft. You can solve bag theft if you want to.
Yeah.
I mean,
but they don't want to because the prisons are full. What are they going to do with these guys?
Mike Graham went over to find his mobile phone that had been stolen, and basically the police discouraged him from knocking on the bloke's door just in case the bloke hit him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what else? I mean, you have cars now are often, you know, a Range Rover, they'll be robbed. They're £100,000. I heard a bloke saying, I called the police, there was CCTV, and they just get a letter in a week, sorry, we're not going to follow it up. They could actually trace all this stuff if they really had the will to do it, but they're busy arresting people like Alice and Pearson.
Naughty words on...
Yeah, exactly. Essex.
Well, I mean, I don't want to talk very specifically. I don't want to talk specifically, but I've got a friend who has been put in for mental health treatment because he was walking down the street talking about his mother converting to Islam, and he was talking about his mother to his partner, and the police have now publicly published his photo saying that they want to interview him for a hate crime. And now I think he's got more upset than he should have been, and has had to go into a mental institution. But that's the level of stupidity. A bloke talking about his mum converting to Islam has now become the biggest hate crime in Brighton this week, which almost certainly can't be true. But it's the way that we are placing certain people on a pedestal. People who fought for this country are scum. People who've got on a small boat to come over are on the pedestal. There is a problem in this country with Islamophilia. Yeah. There's a problem with Islamophobia, but there's a problem with Islamophilia as well, which is, if a Muslim does it, let's just ignore it. That is not acceptable either.
No. When did insanity become the norm?
Yes.
What was the tipping point? When did it happen?
1997. Around that time, wasn't it? When they sort of... In fact, in the 80s, it sort of started happening. I remember someone in the 80s saying they're going to make calling in blackboards illegal, you know, and stuff like that. I remember hearing that in the early 80s, and I thought, this isn't going to happen.
What about whiteboards?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That's what came in, isn't it? In the end.
What amazes me is and I think that this is the way that I think Blair did this deliberately, because all of this stuff is unpalatable, but it all goes through because you go, the system can't stop it, right? The system has been designed so whichever way you vote, the small boats will keep coming, right? That's the way the system's been designed. You know what we need to do? Redesign the system. The reality is we need this great repeal. We need to say every single law that was passed from 1997 to 2010 is gone immediately. Get rid of that, including my favourite criminal offence that Tony Blair brought in, murder by nuclear explosion, because handling nuclear material and killing people with a nuclear bomb was legal prior to that.
That should be decriminalised under 200 megatons.
Imagine murder by nuclear explosion was added into the statute.
I had a lucky escape there, didn't I?
Yeah, that's right. Because I'll tell you, before 1997, you were at genuine risk of that happening. But Blair
brought in we don't realise, about 20,000 laws. I think Stephen Barrett, the famous and barrister friend of the show, and he said, well, when you build up so many laws that you can't understand it actually fails, the law fails, and that's where we're at. No one knows the law, no one knows what you can say and what you can't say, and so we're all living in this state.
The law is deliberately opaque to ensure that it empowers government workers and the police and the quangos to do whatever they want.
The biggest problem we have is the fact that we had the Blair Brown government, you know, obviously socialist government, and then we have a Tory government which normally reverses all the constitutional damage that the last socialist government did. However, they just doubled down on it, and actually they ruined the economy as well, because normally the Tories inherit a poor economy, and then Labour inherits a good economy. But this time, obviously, the Tory government was another global socialist government, and now we have Starmer. So we're on our third socialist government on the trot. No wonder things are bad. You know, they're only going to get worse.
The law's ambiguous, you know, like the hate crime. You know, 20 years ago it was the same law as now, but if a man said he could be a woman, nothing could happen to him. But yeah, scroll 20 years forward, the law's still the same, but it's the judge. The judge can say, well, it's unreasonable, and now that is a hate crime. Yet the law hasn't changed. So this is opaque law, and it needs to be black and white.
I did think in Northern Ireland, the PSNI are looking for somebody who stole a Union flag and put up the tricolour as a hate crime. Oh, he nicked the bloody flag. I mean, I understand why he nicked the flag, right? He's not very keen on the Union Jack, and he's no doubt burnt it, which would be criminal damage. But a hate crime, you know.
We gave one of our members in Bromley Common and Holwood 6 of our A3 posters. He put them on his front fence on a very busy road. In the morning, some guy came along, took them off. The next day, we gave this guy 8 posters. He put those up. The guy came along, took them off. The next day, we gave him 25 posters. The whole of this guy's fence was absolutely covered. It was our best advertising we had in the whole of the war.
You know, in America, they have little sort of for sale signs with Trump on.
Yeah, they do,
This person put it up, and they knew someone was going to run it over, so they put loads of nails on it. They ran it over, it just... And they were blowing up Teslas, weren't they? And it was considered terrorism because it was a political...
We put a wildlife camera in a tree, so we got this guy.
Anyway, look, we've got to take a little breaky. 0344 499 1000. Give us a ring. Back in 2 minutes.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Alan's telling us a little bit about some of the dirty tricks that take place in local government. We won't repeat what he said, but
they're really scared, the other parties, from the stories we're hearing of what happened just before the vote today. They're trying everything because they're losing, and they know there's...
I mean, I think that's the big worry. This is the press preview with Andre Walker, Isaac Gould, Danielle Nichols, and Councillor Alan Cook. But Danielle, it's sad, isn't it, that rather than engage in a real political debate, people want to attempt to criminally prosecute everybody. I just find the whole thing's ludicrous, reporting each other to the police and all this sort of garbage.
Isn't that how it all goes nowadays?
It is.
Rather than anybody.
It's the Stasi, isn't it? It's like East Germany.
Like my mum used to say when people said nasty things about you, she used to say, well, at least they're talking about you. So, you worry more if nobody's that bothered, I suppose.
All right.
Attention.
But we want a funny story off you, Danielle. Come on, tell us a funny story.
Okay.
The funny story they sent you to say.
Can we go smutty?
Yeah, of course.
Smutty. Oh, you scrubber. Right, smutty. Also, when I worked in Salford, people used to have a go at me. They'd go, "Oh, you scrubber," if you made a rude joke. Scrubber.
Yeah, I remember being in the schoolyard once, and some girl shouted, "Oi, Sarah, you scrubber, get over here!" There's a lot of Oz in one sentence. Okay, big change. A worrying trend sees Brits trying to avoid new adult website block built to protect kids with ID checks from today. Regulator Ofcom admits that people will find ways around the crackdown. Do you know what the best thing about this is?
The crackdown.
It's the kids who will find the way around it because they know this better than we do.
Yeah.
Brits are finding worrying ways to get around strict new rules that block users from accessing porn sites unless they show ID. And as Andre is gonna, do you want to guess what it is, Andre?
Get your parents'
told me
ID.
about,
Get your parents'
told me about what maybe if you wanted to watch something and you were in Saudi Arabia, what?
A virtual private network.
A proxy server.
So a long-awaited new law came into effect at midnight, forcing people to prove they're over 18 by sharing an ID document or scanning their face with a camera. The sweeping changes affect websites showing porn or anything linked to self-harm, suicide, or eating disorders, as well as social media apps showing such content. Websites that fail to implement tougher age checks and face checks are being blocked from view in the UK or being.
No, you struggle with face checks in Saudi.
The Online Safety Act is designed to protect children from harmful material and will be enforced by the regulator Ofcom, but many claim that it's easily exploitable.
We knew that would happen.
They can do age checks on porn sites, but they can't do age checks on people coming over on dinghies.
No, that's right.
I know.
That's right.
What the hell?
It's madness.
So hang on a second. Why did you think that I would know the way around it? What
made you think that he'd know all about that sort of thing?
Only purely because when it said Ofcom, it says, way to stop people using VPNs to get around the block.
A visible panty line, isn't it?
Well,
a virtual private network. You just say that you're in Beijing or something. Mind you, it wouldn't work in Beijing.
Yeah, it just bounces to a different country. And you know what? You just think the thing that annoys me is, and it must annoy the techies, because when they bring in these rules, because my brother works in tech, so he's a coder, he's well high up, he makes apps.
Coders are the first job to go soon, aren't they, with AI?
Well, he's quite high up, but basically he would have, like, if I'd have mentioned it to him, he'd have laughed and he'd have just said, well, that's not gonna, because just by the definition of kids who are able to use it, people are not gonna go, oh right, well, I'll tell you what, that's it now, I'll never watch it.
What you should do is get a mask, like, and just put it over your face.
You can't control the internet,
funny,
can you?
But even if you wanted to do it legit, your mum's or dad's passport's going to be in a drawer in the house somewhere.
Yeah, what you could do is you could just go round. No, I'll tell you what I'd do. Do you know what I'd do? I'd go round to my granddad's house and go, Grandad, can you just look in this phone for a minute? And they'll go, but lest we
and
forget...
he'll have no idea what's going on. And this winds me up, because the laws that come with tech are always so far behind.
My favourite story was about Eton College, and basically they went to the local shop, some of the Eton College boys, a few years ago. They said to this bloke, look, would you be willing to buy, like, the best internet pipe or whatever it is that's like $5,000 a year, and this really powerful Wi-Fi, and we'll all give you $5 a week each to log on to it. And they said the quantity of filth that was being transported, they said just terabytes and terabytes of absolute dirt was being downloaded into all these
Just way too little, way too late.
Said,
I have never said to my kids restriction. I think actually it's poor parenting. It really is, because to just say, so I say no, so that's the end of it, is the most stupid thing I have ever heard in my life.
How old should kids be before you give them a smartphone? I mean, how old is the age? Should they make it 16? I mean,
I think so.
But hang on a minute, Ash. This is the problem. It wouldn't matter. I have a neighbour. I'm not going to mention them by name, but her children don't have any access to not even televisions. We're talking like they play the piano. Dad's a surgeon.
I've met people like that, yeah.
Right, yeah, okay, fine. When the kid comes round to play in our house, what is the first thing he does?
I know, but this is, well, obviously...
He opens up Pornhub.
That's why you have to make a law for it. I think in Australia they've made that the law, and we'll look at it like smoking when we didn't have age limits. We'll go, well, why didn't we do that in the first place? Because it's messed up their brains.
Hang on a sec, but if you take... I will say this, so I know a lot of parents who track their children through their smartphones. So they will know, they say, Mum, I'm walking to the shop or whatever, blah, 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 and they'll track where they are through the smartphone. So what a lot of parents, and there's all the blocks and there's all the things you can put on it, you've got You cannot go back. It was my brother
You've
that
got
said
children,
this once because
haven't you?
he's so advanced.
12 and 16.
You can't go back in time.
So what do you?
Well, there's
just
four of
say
us.
that there isn't any.
Yeah.
Well, the
And you
technology's
can't
not
control
there.
the internet. It's a
Yeah,
ridiculous
go on, councillor.
Well, there's four of us in our family and a dog. The dog's the only one who doesn't have a phone. And
Well, that's a surprise. Thanks for that.
We can all track each other. So they all know where I am. I know where the kids are. The kids know where Mum is.
But what age do you allow your 12 year? I mean, how old do your kids have to be to get access to a smartphone?
It probably depends if you trust your kids and how well you trust your kids and how well you bring them up.
Do you check what they've looked at as well?
No, we don't. But we trust them. I'm lucky. I've got two amazing.
You believe? No,
No, hang on a minute, Alan, you're not lucky. You're not lucky. This is another thing that we do as parents. We put ourselves down. You're not lucky. You've worked really hard bringing up your children.
No, he's
That's
lucky.
what
He's
you're
lucky.
doing.
I'm
He's
probably
not
lucky that I've
just-
spent a lot more time with my kids than most parents are able to. So we have both parents at home bringing them up, and so we've brought them up like us. So yeah, they're very sound, politically correct.
By the way, I just want to
correct
say,
politically, I should say, not politically
I want to
correct.
say, my mate who's being hounded by the police in Brighton over having a conversation about his mum is now watching. So I think we should all wave. Should we all wave to him?
Right.
And do that to the police? There we go. don't worry. There's something. Right. Let me just say one thing.
I've been canvassing, so when people do that to us, we tell them how many votes they're giving us. So sometimes they give us one vote. You can guess, and sometimes they give us two votes.
Yeah.
And we say thank you for your two votes, and it just infuriates them.
My view is always if there are some communists in the Brighton police attempting to track you down. Three simple words: free speech union. Right. That is the end of it. Let's deploy Lord Young of Acton to cause some trouble. Anyway, Danielle, what's next?
We're going off corn. Do you know that's what the kids call it as well? That's another thing they do to get round it.
So you want to talk more about pornography? Do you?
No. I'm just
She's
saying.
obsessed.
My worst one was. The worst
she
one
can't get it anymore.
The worst one that happened to me.
Yeah,
I was trying.
Oh, she can get it.
I'll go to my sons. They'll know a way.
I was trying to find a way of making a bit more money off my content, and I went on to OnlyFans. Right,
There's a market for everything.
No, but OnlyFans doesn't say we exclusively cater for porn sites. It says this is like a Twitter feed where people pay for the content.
They have tarot readers on there and everything.
They tried to ban porn originally, and then they realised they can't.
And asylum seekers are on there now as well.
Making porn in the migrant hotels.
In the migrant hotels.
Asylum seeker porn is not something I should.
There's a market for it.
There's not.
Somebody who should have an OnlyFans is definitely Trump. Trump has took time out to open a Scottish golf course. Donald Trump flies into Scotland later to visit 2 golf resorts which he owns in the country where his mother was born.
So that story's a little bit old because he is there now. He was on the telly getting off the plane.
There you go. He's getting off the plane already. But the White House says Trump will also meet the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, to discuss trade while he's in the UK. The trip is exceptional as the US presidents rarely promote their personal interests so publicly while in office.
He doesn't give a shit, does he? Let's just be honest. He doesn't.
You know what, though? Just another example of how
what the most egregious thing he does is when he goes to stay in his golf resort, the US Secret Service on the taxpayer have to book every other room for security reasons, which means
He gives him a great deal.
It means
He got a great deal.
They have to pay full whack to stay in his own hotel. That's disgrace, isn't it?
This is what I always say, though, because I used to say this. Funnily, we were talking about bringing up kids, but I used to say the same thing. I always think if you push someone too far, which is what I believe that they're doing in this country, is push the woke agenda. So this is the backswing. That's what happens.
But one thing about Trump, I mean, Trump is the most pro-British American president ever. To make the following joke, right? He said his mum was from the Isle of Lewis, which is proper Scotland. Right, to make a joke about the fact that people from the lowlands are not considered proper Scots by the Highlanders. I mean, that is an expert level joke that most people from the UK would not have got. So, do you know
she spoke Gaelic, his mother.
She was a native Gaelic speaker, not English.
Do you know they're not going to allow him to speak in Parliament? Do you think that's outrageous?
I know. I believe that this has happened, but Is it being blown out a bit out of proportion, that, because they're saying he's already spoke once, so he wouldn't necessarily...
Well, he doesn't want to go to... He doesn't want the state visit to be in London. He wants it to be in Windsor. And the last one, remember, he wanted the banquet. He moved it from the Mansion House... Sorry, not the Mansion House. The Guild Hall, which is where they traditionally have it with the Lord Mayor of London. And he moved it to Blenheim Palace instead, because he said Blenheim was better. But, OK, this is the press preview with Andre Walker, Asher Gould, Danielle Nichols and councillor Alan Cook. For those of you that have just tuned in, one of our contributors, Alan Cook, has been elected. He's the first ever person to be elected by the Reform Party as a councillor in London. So huge congratulations to him. He looks a little bit different. He's got rid of the glasses and the floral shirts. He's changed. Back in a moment.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is a press preview with Andre Walker, Asher Gould, Danielle Nichols and councillor Alan Cook. And I have to say, we were talking during the break about being a bit exhausted on air. Nothing could be worse than the time I slept during my own show. Do you remember
It was the best show ever. It got some really good reviews. People loved it.
I've been working non-stop. I put my head back and I said, stop it. You can hear... I actually fell asleep during my own show.
No, I can't believe that.
I'll tell you what else I did. I stayed up for 48 hours once and did... my final interview was on Russia Today.
You used to do that every weekend?
Yeah, but it wasn't chemically assisted, Asher. I was working. I was working. I mean, him, when he lived in Manchester, I was up all weekend. Of course you were. Let's just be clear. And then he used to go for a chill out with his mates and go back to a club. Oh, I know the drill. I know the drill.
Yeah, man.
Jesus, man. So
I'm going to assume that when you fell asleep, there was somebody talking, being interviewed.
There was actually, to be honest with you, right, this is quite funny. It was the first time I'd ever done the training day for the Free Speech Union, the aforementioned Free Speech Union, and their top bosses came in to witness the show, and I fell asleep during it because I was that knackered. So it wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
It wasn't ideal.
Next story.
They were paying me a lot of money to give them media training, and they said, "Come on the show, it'll be fine," and fell asleep during the show. They said it was a unique lesson in media strategy that actually go asleep during your own show.
Now, this story is going to be, it's a big one, but we're doing it because it winds me up and all. COVID vaccines saved far fewer lives than were first thought. New study suggests true figures substantially more conservative than WHO's 14.4 million global estimate. Now, COVID vaccines saved far fewer lives than first thought, a major new analysis has concluded, with researchers criticising aggressive mandates. I will be honest, then there's a paywall that I'm not that I've not gone
No,
beyond on here.
right.
However,
right,
I
just
have
stop,
my
stop
own
for 1 second. Stop for 1 second. I want to say how appalled I am at a Moldovan website called archive.md, which will bypass any paywall. Do not use it. It's a disgrace. Do not use it.
I will not use it. What was the name again?
It was archive.md.
Right.
If you don't want to use a paywall,
try and avoid that.
If you avoid that website if you wish to pay for all your content.
Does this investigation say how many people it killed, the vaccine?
Oh, well, surprise, in 2023, around 70% of adults said vaccinations were safe and effective, which is down sharply from 90%
That's a nightmare.
in 2018.
Do you know something? I'm going to put this to first Danielle. In fact, let's all answer it because I think this is important. Danielle, if there was a vaccine tomorrow and Whitty, Van Tam, Valance and all of them went on the TV and they said, this injection will cure you of cancer, and they cited all the evidence and they were telling the truth, what would the take-up rate be? I think it'd be 50%, 40%. I don't think it'd be high at all. I think the problem is you can lie about a vaccine once and that's the end of it.
And then never again. And especially the history of vaccines, because we've had problems with the MMR. There've been problems in the past, so they know that these things are a very touchy subject particularly for parents. So it was a very risky manoeuvre in the first place.
But the problem was they didn't
Nowadays, people lump together. What you find is with these
everyone just
surveys,
doesn't trust vaccines.
Yes,
but if
and NHS becomes, well, the government lied, and it all becomes lumped together.
But if you'd have told the truth, my mother was suffering from lung cancer during the coronavirus lockdown, right? If you'd have told the truth and said what we assumed to be true, you've rushed through the approval of the vaccine because we want to get back to work quickly. That's what we assumed to be true, and it turned out to be true. No medical procedure is risk-free. We assumed that to be true, and it turned out to be true. We should only give it to people who will actually benefit from it. We'd assumed that was true, and it turned out to be true.
They gave it to school kids.
What they actually did was they said they first of all lied about the swift approval. Then they said it was safe in every single case. A simply astonishing claim that couldn't possibly be true. No medical procedure is safe for every single case.
Nope.
I mean, there are people who die of circumcision, right? Fact.
Yes.
But
this was a problem.
Because they were so dishonest about it. My mum would have taken the vaccine knowing all the details, and my dad would have, because of the unique position being in of having a respiratory problem.
Yeah, for the kids, when you have these sort of 3-in-1 vaccine, 5-in-1 vaccine, now we've got 7-in-1 vaccines, and they're doing that for cost. And you're overloading the immune system and a newborn and a child with these multiple vaccines for cost reasons.
Yes.
And so
they'll say it's not overloading. The MMR, they say.
Okay, if it is or if it isn't, the parents believe it is. So some parents are not having their children vaccinated. So it creates that situation. So what is the cost of not having quite a large percentage of children not vaccinated?
Well, you get diseases coming out,
exactly.
don't you?
So why not actually stick with the individual vaccines? It might cost a bit
Alan,
more, but in the long term, you retain trust in the whole area.
The problem is, when they lied about the coronavirus vaccine, they killed it. Nobody trusts it, because the problem is there is nothing more dangerous
Wakefield
than injecting.
Started the loss of trust in the vaccines, didn't he?
What the problem is, if injecting something into your bloodstream means any of your defence mechanisms don't exist, right? If you inject stuff into your bloodstream, you will die of it if it's nasty.
Did you have the mRNA, the experimental one?
I didn't have any.
No, oh, good on you.
No, I've got to be honest with you. The only reason I had none,
look at me.
I lived on my own, and frankly, I'm sorry to say this to people. I thought it'd be more dangerous to go to Slough and get the vaccine than just avoid Slough.
I had the first one because I had to travel for work, so I had to go to Amsterdam. So I had that.
Do you know what?
I regret it, but thank God I didn't have the mRNA.
There was an element of bullying in that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And as soon as you do that to people, they don't like it. People like to make their own decision.
Yeah.
We're not idiots. We're not.
I'll tell you what I did. I flew to Poland at the beginning of the war in Ukraine, and obviously what they did was they separated us out into two groups. I was in the group with everyone who looked like Phil Mitchell, right? Because we were all, they knew who was going to Ukraine, they could tell, right? And they walked up and they went, "Have you been vaccinated against the coronavirus?" I went, "No." And they went, "Have you been tested?" "No." "Have you got any paperwork?" "No." And they went, "You are admitted to Poland, go in." And everyone else had been ripped to bits because they knew we were, quote unquote, going east, which was the turn of phrase at the time.
Anyway, look, a call has flooded in. You can call as well.
A call has flooded in. Wow.
499 1000. Aid in Hampshire.
Hi there, guys. How are you?
We're all right, man. What do you want to say?
Cool. Yeah. First of all, I'd just like to pay my respects to obviously Mr. James Whale and also Nadine, and my thoughts and prayers are with you guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
We'll do that one. So Asha, Andre, Danielle, and also Councillor Cook. Fantastic. Reform's first London councillor.
Thank you.
Love to hear that. So I just really sort of want to mention about sort of fractious politics.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the left-hand side, you've now got Corbyn and Sultana creating Jezbollah.
Yeah.
Hezbollah! Yes!
Jezbollah,
yeah.
Which hopefully will eliminate a lot of Starmer's backbenchers and majority.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I think that Nigel Farage... Now, Rupert Lowe has been posting very, very vociferously on Facebook with some fantastic policies, as has Ben Habib.
I agree.
So... do you not think that it's time for these egos, and they are they are three powerful right-wing egos,
to get together? I mean, did you see Ben earlier, Aid? We asked him this, and there's no coming together at the moment. But I agree there should be, but it's not going to happen, is it, currently?
Well, I just think sort of for the sake of the country.
That's
now,
what I said.
If these three people, if they are truly patriotic, which I believe that all three of them are, and I believe that every Reform member, including yourself, Alan, are truly patriotic, it's time to bury the hatchet and...
Well, we've had this before. With,
by the way, I will say one other thing. There is another side to this, Alan, which is if you've got political leaders who cannot compromise with each other, it's wrong to have the unbelievable chaos of them all fighting at the top of a party. That's the other way of looking at it.
Yeah, but... you know, I know Ben really quite well, and I know Rupert less, but you know, he's one of the hardest working MPs in the Commons. So you know,
absolutely,
he's doing a lot of good. So he's a good guy. But you know, before, can I quickly say that we've had before, when we're you know, lower in the polls and we're coming up, and everyone is saying, why don't you sort of centre-right parties all merge? So you've got the Reclaim Party, you've got the Heritage Party. Why don't you all get together? And you know, the Heritage Party is Dave Curtin, is one guy, and you've got the Reclaim Party at home with that one guy, it's Lawrence Fox, who you know, whose mouth is like a cannon, could sink a party overnight. So you know, it's like
he gets more talkative the later it goes in the evening,
exactly.
doesn't it?
So
I wonder why that is.
But you know, so we have to be careful. We are a national party, and we're in it for the long term and for the benefit of the country. So we have to be very, very careful. So that's why we're not joining up with these one-man parties.
But a bit of balance.
If we have to lose one person for a good reason,
a bit of balance.
It's a shame.
A bit of balance requires me to say.
Well, I think
that
the way
Nigel
we did
Farage
it
is accused of being an egotist as well.
The way we did it, I think, is regrettable and wrong. But I think we needed to do it with Rupert, because he was making up policy on the fly, policy which is unfunded and not necessarily deliverable, and he kept doing it. So, and he accused us of being a protest party, but you know, making up policy on the fly is something potentially a protest party would actually do.
He's very influenced by social media.
Yeah. So you know, in the long run, he had to go, and my thing is, you know, they should have handled it better, really. And
Aid, are you happy with that response?
Yeah, I am. I am. I mean, if I may just ask Alan one more thing.
Sure.
You may not.
Not my show, is it?
We've only got a minute, so make it quick,
Thank you so much. What the heck are we going to do with Khan?
Good question. Thanks, go on.
It may not be a problem after the 3rd of September, but I can't really go into it.
Well, he said that 3 times.
The ULEZ case might be challenged, and it might be all over.
It's like Smashing Nicey and them doing a lot of money for stuff for charity that they don't like to talk about. So, okay, Aid in Hampshire, thanks so much. We are taking your call straight after this. 0344 499 1000. We've got 5 slots available, so there's loads of opportunities.
Danielle's going, are you?
Yeah, I'm going. So
Danielle's going. Alan's going. Okay, so we've got just the calls, just you, just me. By the way, just for a quick moment, let me say that you can follow us at Virtual Ash.
At Andre JP Walker. What's your Twitter, councillor?
Oh, T. Alan Cook.
There you go.
Or Alan T. Cook.
And Danielle.
He doesn't know what it is. Loud Danielle.
Loud Danielle.
You'll find me.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent, man.
Okay, she was Stephen Mulhern's partner on CITV. Amazing. Okay, 0344 499 1000 is the number to call. Please do get in touch. Please do give us a call, because we're a little bit short tonight, but we're going to get there. And we'll be talking about all the big issues of the day just in a couple of moments. Back then.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is the James Wales Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. Councillor Alan Cook's decided to stay. I think he's a sadist. Right, literally. He's been working for the past month.
It's adrenaline now. It's all over. He's been successful. He's just...
He'll sleep in the car. OK, let's put some calls through. Where are they? Come on.
He won't be driving, by the way.
OK, we're sorting it out.
0344 499 1000. We've got a few calls. And let's start with Lee in Manchester. Hi, Lee.
Are you all right, mate?
All right. All right, okay.
I want to talk about these doctor strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, disgraceful.
It is, honestly, it's disgraceful. You know, you talk about the... What's it called? The
Hippocratic Oath. Well, they should be fired for this. They're not the right people to be doctors if they're going to do this sort of thing, and people are going to die.
No.
People will die from this.
I mean, they've had a pay rise,
yeah,
and now there are no pay rise.
Yeah.
Now they want no pay rise.
And did you hear on Mike Graham this morning? They won't actually say what they're earning because they're on big figures and they get massive pensions, some of them. So when you press them about that, they don't tell you.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah.
What they actually do is this: there's some people in the medical profession who earn very little, and some that are making an absolute bonanza. And what they do, they tie themselves, the rich ones tie themselves to poor ones and go, we need a 30% increase across the board because there are nurses working for this amount. Yeah, you lazy toe rag. I mean, half these consultants don't even work full time, do they? We've all heard it before. Oh, well, on the NHS it takes 6 months, but if you pay me 500 quid, you can come back tomorrow. Let's get them renting those offices. How much? Also, they should be paying the NHS a franchise payment. Shouldn't they?
Good point.
If you are a hospital consultant and you go, come to my private practice next week, I'll do it for 500 quid, we should get a referral fee. What's a reasonable fee? 25%?
A big chunk, why not?
He hasn't got a microphone.
Is it falling off?
It's fallen off.
Oh.
Tony Blair brought in these ridiculous laws, didn't he? I mean, these doctors, they got, I think, 28% last year, and they said they were going to strike again, and yet now they're doing it. They didn't even ask any terms for that pay rise. You know, last year they just gave it to them. They gave all their mates in the unions.
All the train drivers, you know, normally you get a pay rise. We remove some of the archaic practices.
The Spanish practices, where if your boss says hello, you can start your break again just for your boss saying hello.
What?
Yeah, if you're doing something, you're on your half-an-hour break.
Surely that's hola.
Exactly. If a manager just walking along says hello, immediately you can start your half-an-hour break again.
Well, because he's talked to you during the break.
Yeah, in the break, yeah.
Oh,
it's stuff like that, you know what I mean?
It's like working at Ford at Hale Wood in the Liverpool.
I spoke to a tube driver once. He got out his cab. They work 4 days a week and 4 hours a day, and yet they start on about 70 grand, and they can actually earn 100 grand quite easily with overtime, night tube, and this is going on across a lot of train companies.
On the other hand, you can say where the doctors coming in from illegal migrants.
Yeah. What? I mean, we have seen there's people from other countries are coming with fake qualifications as well. So it's obviously very dangerous.
Yeah. All right, Lee. Thanks so much. Paul is in Hartlepool. Paul, you're on talk.
Monkey hangers.
Yeah. Hello, Daniel. With the strikes going on, they should basically West Street should impose the payments that they want to come out of their pension, and they were offered 5%, right? Everything above the 5% that they want, they should take it out the pension.
Yeah, that was a suggestion, wasn't it?
I'll tell you what I thought we should do during the lockdown. We should tie public sector pay and pensions to GDP. So when they shut down the country, 40% cut in pay and pensions.
They also want it on the RPI inflation figure, which isn't done now, because you look at retail prices have gone through the roof, and a lot of them want it from 2008 when they were, as Mike Graham pointed out, getting pocket money. They weren't even working in 2008, a lot of these doctors. They were still at school.
Labour are saying they're going to increase the GDP spending on defence. But the way they're killing the economy, you know, if they increase it from 2% to 5%, if they kill the economy enough, they end up putting less.
We are a noticeably poorer country.
We're actually borrowing money just to pay the interest on our loan. We have to pay, I think, 110 billion just on interest. So we're actually having to borrow money, increasing the debt just to pay the interest.
Really clever. Never thought of that.
Yeah.
Well, I will say one thing, and McRuin, Gordon Brown, never realised this, but you can't spend your way out of debt. Right, which McRuin genuinely thought you could.
Well, you can't tax your way into growth either, but they haven't worked that one out, have they?
Well, I mean, if you look at Gordon Brown's economic theory, it's what I call the perpetual boom theory, which is if you take an economic boom and stoke it with government spending by borrowing, you can create a perpetual boom. I think there's most 10-year-olds can tell you that is stupid. But McRuin.
He was an idiot. He sold our gold, and before he sold it, he announced he was going to sell it, and the price plummeted.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely. Paul, thanks so much. Joe is in
Wiltshire.
Well, that's spelt wrong.
Joe.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. What's up, Joe?
Okay. Andre, you need to just take it down a level.
All right. Why? Don't phone my show and abuse me.
What are you talking about? Is her?
No, just take down the tone, just a tad. and be a little bit more calm.
This is what happened when you get two northerners sometimes. They fight like...
Well, there you go.
Like hamsters.
Yeah, totally.
Where are you from, Joe?
Who cares?
You see what you've done
I
there?
am originally from Lancashire.
Not the good bit, though. Probably the
Which bit? Which bit?
Rubbish bit. Great Harwood or somewhere like that.
Pendle.
Pendle! Are you away?
Oh, give over. Yes, I am.
She is.
I'm an absolutely total witch.
Well, we have lots of witches on this programme. There's white witches. I had a girlfriend who was a witch.
Why doesn't that surprise me that you've been into the whole New Age thing, actually?
Yeah, well, no, she just happened to be.
It's nothing to do with New Age. Give it over.
Yeah, give over. It's all there.
Give over, love. I'm from Pendle. I'll have the nose. Black pudding.
Anyway, Joe, what did you call him to say?
And I've
It wasn't to be
eaten
insulted, was it?
black pudding. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Ash, you're amazing.
Thanks, man.
I really, really, you are absolutely amazing. Andre,
Sensible.
you need to tone it down. Yeah.
No, you should listen to her because she's obviously a successful northerner because she's moved to Wiltshire. So, you know, you should take a leaf out of her book.
Why phone me up to say I'm an arsehole? I mean, why do
She
that?
didn't say that.
I think she said amazing, not arsehole.
No, she didn't.
She said
So
amazing.
you got to tone it down, you.
Joe?
Just make it a little bit lower in your tone. That's all.
Can you turn your volume down a little bit on your
that's
telly?
right. Turn the volume.
Yeah, but then we'll all be turned down.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
turn your volume down.
Yeah.
Well, it's just something you're just not going to be able to deal with, really, is it? I mean, it's
I
just
like this caller. She's great.
Can you call back tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not on tomorrow.
Exactly.
Phone Peter Cardwell. So it is. Phone Peter.
Who's your favourite on Talk TV?
Ash, you're amazing. However,
Well, apart from me, I
when
mean,
I
take that
rang-
as read, yeah.
I rang about 3 hours ago.
All right, love. So take it
And
off.
unfortunately, I've lost track of what you're talking about.
Are
you drunk?
She's been to the ale house, hasn't she? There we go. You tone it down a little bit. Why do you tone it down? You've come on wrecked. No idea what you're on about.
She's handling it well.
She's not handling it well.
She's hiding
She's
it well.
kicking off. And another thing. Yeah, I mean, it's just disgrace.
What do you do, Joe, for a living? Are you retired or do you work in? What?
She's on the lash.
Bob.
You what?
I work in the
Public sector.
sector.
What sector?
Just security sector.
Security sector.
We'll leave it at that.
Right, you work in the security sector.
GCHQ.
Yeah, she does. She works for GCHQ. Yeah, there we go. Tone it down. Well, if you can't listen to calls, you'll be no good at GCHQ, if I'm being totally honest with you.
Yeah.
Right. You know. So, Joe, by the way, what do you think about the current situation with Nigel Farage? Oh, she's gone. Never mind. Mike is in Whaley
Bridge in Derbyshire. Mike.
Hello.
All right. What's up, Mike? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I'd just like to speak about the doctors. My daughter used to be a junior doctor last year. It's now called a resident doctor. Do you know how much they were paid an hour before they got that £22?
I know they say £19, £20, but it works out different when you add the pensions and other things in.
No, doctor. She wouldn't get out of bed for £14 an hour.
What did she earn? What was a year's salary, though? That's what we need to know.
The depends how many hours they work. Sometimes last year she had to work 70 hours a week.
And what would she earn in a year, then?
Well, it depends how many hours she works. Work it out yourself.
Well, you see, you're flanneling around. This is what the doctors do. You're not giving us the answer. What was her annual wage? What was her pension?
70 times 14 is £1,000
a week.
Yeah.
So 50 grand a year plus your pension benefits. You can talk about 74. And that's at the start of her career.
Every week. Listen, it's £14 an hour. After the rise, went up to £18 an hour.
Right.
Now,
What do you think when she's older she's going to be earning that?
She went to university. She did 6 years training.
So hang on a second. So in her first job out of university, she earned a total of £1,200 a week, and she's complaining about poverty.
No, she said she's not complaining about.
No, what she said was what she said is what they all said. We insist that all medical professionals go for this inordinately long amount of time at university. We refuse to allow nurses to do a lot of the heavy lifting because we feel we deserve a commensurately large salary with the years we've gone to university. The reality is, what is destroying the NHS is the arrogance of the doctors. If we had more nurses manning units doing... I mean, what about the stupid situation in hospitals?
The problem with this situation is the 70 hours. They shouldn't be working 70 hours.
I agree with that.
But they used to work 100 on. They used to work 100
exactly, so it's come down.
But the reality is, what do a lot of these hospital doctors do? And I don't mean to be awful, but friends of mine who've been in medicine have said to me, nurses know which injections have to be given to the patients, what treatment have to be given to the patient. But for legal reasons, and that legal reason is a trade union agreement between the NHS and the BMA, a doctor has to do it. So instead of a nurse being able to prescribe medicine, which is an obvious thing to do, give injections, which is an obvious thing to do, it all has to be done by doctors, and it's in order to keep this cartel up. Do you know something?
Yeah.
Do you know that they turned off the surgical equipment in Manchester? Do you know why? Because it was all done by robotics, and there were enough surgeons to keep the hospitals in Manchester open, but that would involve somebody from London operating a machine down the line in Manchester, and trade union agreements said stop the operations instead. The BMA are the worst of the worst.
Listen, Andre, we're not talking about BMA.
There we are.
Listen, yesterday she carried out 100th cesarean section. Okay, she saved at least over the last year 30 babies.
Right.
Last year she was on the £23,000. After that rise, she's gone up to 27,378. That is for a 35-year-old woman.
She only earned 27 grand. This doctor works 70 hours a week. I don't. That doesn't make sense.
That's not. No. That's
what she would have earned.
It's 39 hours. That's what she'd get for 39 hours.
Yeah, but the point is, it's not what they're being paid.
Plus the pensions.
It's like you saying to me, Andre, you'd get paid X amount if you worked for 10 minutes. Well, I don't work for 10 minutes.
You don't work for 10 minutes. She works constantly, all the time, sometimes without taking
But why,
a
if
break.
she doesn't like it, she could go anywhere around the world and work. Why wouldn't she do that?
No, stop for a minute.
Well, if she cares about money more than patients.
Stop for a minute. Here is the interesting thing. Because what Mike is just unwilling to say is, what did she take home last year? Now, it's a figure one would assume that he knows.
That's irrelevant, depending on if she worked 100 hours, 70 hours, 7 days a week.
But when you say my daughter earns this amount, and then somebody says, what does she earn per year? And you go, what she would earn per year is this if she worked 37.
For a reason.
It's obvious he doesn't want to tell us the actual sum. Mike, is that fair?
Are they forced to work that many
I will
hours?
tell you the actual sum, right? If she had worked 70 hours...
See, you're already saying, tell us what she earned.
I don't know exactly how many hours she worked for the whole year.
You don't
So
know
when you
what she
had
earned.
this discussion with her, she didn't bother mentioning it.
Listen, okay, say she works... say she did work 60 hours a week. She would have earned...
1,000 a week.
38,000. £38,000 for somebody that's
plus pensions. I mean, plus the pensions. But I mean, I know they've said they want to have, they care about people, so they don't want to move to another country.
No,
Then why are they going on strike?
I mean, with respect, she'd have earned 56.
No, with respect to you, Andre, she doesn't want to work for another company. She is dedicated to a job. She saved 30
years of training
over the last year. You can't say...
Doctors on strike aren't dedicated to their job, are they? You can't agree with that. A doctor of 30 years ago would never strike.
I'm saying what my daughter does. Are you telling me that all the other doctors just don't care?
Well, if they're on strike, yes, I am saying that. Lord Winston, and you look at doctors 20 years ago, would never go on strike. Ever, it would be unthinkable. Now they are. People will die from these strikes.
They only go on the picket line if they know that they've got cover in the hospital.
They never would have gone on the picket line 20 years ago. People are going to die from these strikes.
No, who's going to die?
People in 6 months who didn't get their mole seen to, who then get diagnosed with terminal cancer.
One would
People
assume
on
that
that's
we
one
needed
example.
I've just had a member of family kicked out of a hospital in Lancashire because of the doctor's strike, and they've been sent home. They were on an IV and morphine in hospital, and they said, well, we can't actually give you morphine because we have no doctors, so you might as well go home.
Listen, Dave,
and that was today, my family. So, yeah, this is dangerous.
Yeah, but that once again is the issue of the trade union agreement, because the nurses can administer the morphine and know that they can do it, but that trade union agreement with the BMA prevents them from doing it. The reason these junior doctors are running around for 70 hours is in order to maintain the cartel.
In fact,
yeah, go on, Mike.
She's just walked through the door now.
Well, ask her how much she earned last year.
Do you want to speak to her?
Yeah, go on.
She'll be able to tell me how many hours she worked last year.
We just want to know the figures, how much she earned last year.
Becky, come here.
Becky!
Come on, Becky! Come on, Becky!
Becky!
You're live on telly, Becky.
She's at the door, she's got a dog with her.
She's got a dog with her. Come on, Becky.
How many hours did you work?
Not an hour. How much did she earn last year?
Why? So I can tell in national television.
Well, it's public fee. It's a public pay, isn't it? It's a public position.
This is awkward.
Plus pension.
Did you hear that?
No, how much?
Right, how many hours a week did you work?
We don't want to know that. We want to know what she
Right,
earned.
she worked between 48 and 70 hours a week, and to Talk Radio, and sorry, Talk TV. She earned 48,000 before tax. After that, she had to pay her medical insurance, like doctors.
And what was her pension pot with that as well?
Whoa. She had to pay for her own exams. She had to pay to wash her own uniform.
Wash her own clothes, eh?
What was her pension? She also would have got a good pension on top of that. A lot of benefits.
Listen, she's 35 years of age. She may never get a pension.
No, but it's being paid in for her, isn't it? There's a big amount getting paid
Right,
in.
I just think we just need to do something. Right, when you told your daughter that you're discussing her financial arrangements on the telly, she didn't sound that happy. Mike, why don't we just leave it there and go to the break? We'll all just...
You patch things up with Becky.
We'll all just regroup. God, please don't give this surname out, because that'd be a disaster.
Thanks,
Back in
Becky.
the mouth.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
My God. Becky! How much do you earn? Who wants to know? Talk TV.
Also, I mean, 48 grand, that's a lot up north. You get a couple of houses for that. Right, let's go to Cindy in Michigan and say howdy doody to our American friend. It must be about 6:23 in the evening.
In the evening, howdy doody.
Howdy doody. And it's only Thursday where you are, which is crazy.
What? No, it's Friday.
No, it's Saturday here and Friday there.
Is it Saturday?
What is here?
No, it's Friday.
Well, let's not talk about what day it is, because that would be at best poor quality radio.
Yeah, you're right,
Mr. Wales. I miss Mr. Wales and Lady W. I want to send all my love. I hope to see him soon. And I also have a question for each of you gentlemen. Two questions.
Shoot.
Do you ever get depressed? And if you do, what do you do about it?
Get drunk.
I'd love to know.
I'm too lucky to get
Do you
depressed.
ever?
I just go to sleep.
Yeah, just sleep it off.
Sleep it off.
Yeah.
Everyone do that.
Because I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get depressed because I'm...
No, I mean, there's serious depression where it's a medical condition. Obviously, that's a different thing, and you can't just sleep that off.
Oh, yeah. No, none of us are medically...
we're not medically.
You can't sleep, which increases the depression.
No, so if I was depressed, it would be because something depressing has happened. It wouldn't be because I have a chemical
manic
imbalance.
depression or mild depression, yeah.
No such thing as depression happens. Something bad happens.
Yeah, but no, there is a depression just happening because of a neuro.
No, but not in a depressive event, you know.
No, well, that's just there's a reason for it. But that can also.
No, I mean, I remember a woman when I worked at the House of Commons. This woman said to me, she goes, "Oh, it's been awful. My husband got cancer. Oh my God, and he was ill for a long time, and he lost his job because they paid him the sick pay for however long they pay. I don't know quite how it works. And then I lost my job because I was looking after him and I couldn't go in, and we lost the house because we couldn't pay the mortgage. And she said, I'm on antidepressants. And I said, wait a second. And now he's died, obviously. I said, look, antidepressants are for people who've got an imbalance in their brain that force them to feel depressed when nothing bad is happening.
No, but I think if bad, you can actually get a depression from something terrible happening, and you can't get out of it.
Yeah, but our drugs the way out of it.
But I wouldn't have a drug addiction.
No. So
it might help
if you describe your worst problem and you solve it, your second worst problem is now your worst problem. So it's a state of mind.
That's a reasonable point.
So
it is a state of mind. It is.
Yeah.
I agree with that, full force. And I want to say, okay, so I was feeling a little blue, so I joined, it's called a partial hospitalization program from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And you know what all they have you do there? Basically, okay, they give you a little bit of insight, a little bit of information.
So you go on holiday to a mental institution?
You are coloring, and you're doing... glitter, and you're like, you know what? I want to say, you, Ash, and Andre, you are the best medicine I've ever had.
Thanks, man.
And I mean that. 100.
Well, you take us twice a week, don't you?
You are the best medicine.
Yeah, man. Do you get the blues when we're not on?
I do. You know what I do? I do.
I guess that's why they call it the blues.
I wish so much that you guys were on more.
So do we, because we're being paid per show. If I'm being wholly honest with you.
But I mean, you know, you are worth more than insurance could pay for. I wish I could give you my insurance and say, hey.
I mean, there's a way of doing it, though, isn't there? Surely
we should
send us money.
We should be on prescription.
Yeah, just send me money. I'll set up an OnlyFans, and you can be my OnlyFan.
Well, they do that in America. You have the evangelists, don't they? God needs your money, and they become billionaires.
And God knows that British accent. Oh my Lord!
Which one? There's 3 in here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Whoa, man.
Rather.
Whoa.
Oh,
I love it. I could just listen to you guys talk about nonsense.
Well, that's what you're doing.
That is what you do, yeah.
With respect, that is what you're listening to at the moment. I mean, I just love the way she presents that as if it's a groundbreaking thought, whereas actually.
And I miss the witch. Where has she been?
Yeah, where is the witch?
No, don't know.
Well, the problem is this is no right. There's one thing that's a bugbear of mine, which talk will not fix. Right, so at the moment, every single line is jammed up. So if you phone now, you can't get through to the studio. But if we just removed one of these people and noted down their phone number, then you'd be able to phone us. So the witch might be phoning us. Look at Joe's face now. He's thinking.
No,
you know,
and you know, I have.
see, he's not answering calls. Look at him. Look at him. He's just.
He's on the beach already.
If she's out there, email your phone number to the young man who's on the line, because I emailed my phone number.
Oh,
yeah. I email it to her, but I emailed my phone number to the gentleman so that he would be able to give it to her.
No, I might. No, I'll tell you what you can do. I'll tell you what you can do. Can't you just go WhatsApp us and say, this is my number, call me back, and we'll get Ginger Joe to do it.
Of course, you can leave a voice message on WhatsApp.
Maybe a direct message rather than a WhatsApp. Oh, no, WhatsApp.
Do you remember who Ginger Joe was?
No.
Do you remember the Kerr's All Massive? It's a Kerr's All Massive. Little Kev. Over there's our man Ginger Joe. Get on the bus with me, dear Silver.
Must have been a northern thing.
No idea. He's quite the looker.
Who is?
If I could have voted.
He's a what?
In his district.
He's a bit of a.
Who, Ginger Joe? I'm lost.
All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do.
He used to work.
Right, we're going to go to a break.
Yeah, okay, yeah, let's make sense of everything. We'll calm down, then we'll come back with a bit of Ken in London. Hallelujah.
Oh, good. Bit of local.
Break.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
Okay, listen to this. Mark says, I'm a civilian officer for a large police force. Let's hope it's not the Brighton police, because we hate them at the moment. He's a he is a officer, sorry, just moved out of the way, for a large police force. I've just worked out that if I announce my pay like a junior doctor does, that I earn £16.75 an hour for 37 hours, it wouldn't sound very much. However, I add in my unsociable hours allowance, which doctors get. I earn £41,753. Also, I get an additional £3,000 into my pension. So these people are not badly paid. It's the private sector that are really struggling. What about this? Gary says the starting salary for a year one foundation doctor, which is in their first year after training, after leaving medical school, is now almost £39,000 in England. Ooh. And so this caller's daughter only gets a salary of 28, is a bit of a mystery. Perhaps she tells her dad she's only earning 28, so he doesn't charge her rent. Let's just stir that pot.
She was living at home, which is unusual, isn't it, for someone?
Let's just stir that pot. Becky, is that true?
Anyway, look, the Panasonic answer machine's flashing, isn't it? Who's our first first answer machine message from? Is it? Just play it. Steve, let's hear from Steve. Go on.
Hi, Andre Nash.
Yeah.
One would have thought that a student studying medicine would be a relatively intelligent person. They're going to study medicine for perhaps 5 years to become a doctor. One would have thought that the same person would have thought a little bit about how much they were going to earn when they were studying. To me, it seems really odd that a person would spend all this time studying just to be disappointed with their salary, when that is one of the most important things of their being, you know, is to earn a high salary.
And we know that, you know, you're going to make a load more in the future.
I'll tell you what, I remember when I worked at Windsor and Maidenhead Council, we cut the redundancy, and our head of HR, who was in with the trade union, she was a disaster. She went, we won't attract the best people if we don't have a good package. I went, how many people ask, what's the redundancy? At the job interview, she said, you'd be surprised. Would you really be surprised? Because I'd be surprised if it was anyone at all. Okay, let's go for Hope from Florida. Hope.
Hi, everyone. It's Hope from Florida.
Hi, Hope. Yeah.
Ash, my mom was just in here watching with me. She thinks you look like Jesus Christ.
A lot of people say that.
Andre, however,
a fat Jesus.
My mom doesn't think you got your hair done by Bozo. She thinks you got it done by Krusty the Clown. Sorry, my mom's words, not mine. Anyway, it's my birthday on Wednesday, and I'm turning 28. And after my birthday, Danielle, I'll be sending you a special parcel. Is the studio still good to send you stuff? Also, what's your favorite fruit? I've been loving tonight's show, and I'm excited for whatever the future has next, and I hope Danielle can be in the studio soon. Happy to say bye-bye. See you soon. Bye-bye.
A pear is my... What, are you going to send us a pear?
Pear of what?
No, what's your favourite fruit? What's your favourite fruit? Call in and tell us your favourite fruit. No, that was a very nice message from Hope there. She's going to send us something. And I think
what's your favourite fruit?
A pear. Oh, sorry, a pear.
I like eating lemons.
Really? That's weird.
Peeling them and eating them.
What's your favourite fruit? What's your prunes?
I don't bite them without peeling them.
You can eat a calamondin orange without peeling it.
It's sophisticated now. He's becoming. I don't even know what that is.
I'll tell you what I want to try. I want to try that. You know the citrus fruit that they rip off Jewish people with, Etarog or something.
The Esrog.
Yeah, I want to try that.
Don't knock off that python.
I've got 15 different citrus at home.
Are you a citrus fanatic?
Yeah, so we realised about 2 months ago, so I've been buying some weird stuff like Bizarria, bergamot, yuzu.
You should try an Esrog.
I've got, I haven't got that one.
No, try it, yeah.
But basically, the Jewish faith forces you to buy this particular type of lemon that's about 30 quid each.
Yeah,
right? That's where
you shake your lulav at the same time.
What do you have to do with it?
There's a big palm tree, and you have to shake it at Sukkos, and you shake it up, down, and you have a little Esrog, your lemon thing, and I don't really know, but it's to celebrate.
No, what's happening? What's happening is it's exactly like university reading lists. There's somebody who's got like this farm out in Israel, and they've gone, listen, just stick it in the rules. They have to have my fruit once a year for 30 quid. Oh, I'll stick that in there. It's like the university reading list where they go, you must buy all these books. Oh, are they just your mates? Are they really? Yeah.
The unions again.
Absolutely. So basically, there's a Jewish farmer somewhere in Israel who makes this particular citrus fruit, and he's just got it in the list.
He's in the Bahamas now.
He's got it listed.
Yeah. And the thing is, you can't. There's a little stick thing hanging on the end of it, and if you knock it off, it's possil, which means you got to get another one.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I do? I just buy a lemon and tell everyone. I just go, oh, that's the Etrog one. There you go. You can have that.
Talking of religion, look, it's Ken in London.
Hallelujah, Ken.
Good morning.
Hello, gentlemen. Andreas, how you doing this evening?
That's not Ken in London.
I can't believe.
It's another Ken.
I can't believe you're talking about these NHS strikes.
Ken, what's happened to you?
It's disgusting. They're talking about NHS strikes.
Have you been taken over by Satan?
Who
is this?
Surgeons against Jesus.
Ken's been possessed. He's speaking in. What's up then, Ken? What's
They're
going
all
on?
going to hell.
Well, we
They're
know
asking
that.
for money for these robot surgeons. When Jesus healed for free,
to lepers. Scripture 21:3 said, and the Lord said unto them, be healed, and I will be your guiding light forever.
I've never heard Ken say
and these
sensible.
witches on talk, they can burn in the hellfire. As for Cindy, bless your heart, in the United States of America, your depression, I wish you seriously all the best.
What? Who is this person? What's going on?
It's a Ken in London impersonator. He's become that.
It's all shenanigans. Robotic surgeons, Andre and Ash.
Who is this?
It's a Ken in London decoy.
Who is this
a Ken in London impersonator. There's a lot of them
I'm
about.
not from London, I'm from Scotland.
Well, we know that.
Jesus,
we know you're originally from Scotland.
That's the worst impersonation I've ever heard.
Wait till we try and wind you guys up.
You've got to follow Jesus.
But I failed. You got to follow scripture. No more witches on talk, Andre and Asher.
Sorry.
Have you ever bashed the bishop?
I'll bash my bishop all the time in bed thinking about you two.
If you're listening, have a look at Exodus 14, subsection 7, and you'll see it all written there.
Or just buy the Jewish manual that forces you to buy citrus fruits. Anyway, Jerry is in Burton-on-Trent. Jerry, you're through to talk.
Go, Jerry.
Jerry.
Just as an aside, about these doctors, don't forget the blue light scheme, which gives them huge discounts for everything that they buy in the shops.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, yeah. And they were offered half-price lunches, weren't they? I remember you, Jerry. You've always had a couple of bottles of wine about this time, haven't you?
No, real ale for me. I just wish I could get the young special like you lucky guys down in London.
What's your wine recommendation for the week? Because you always give us a little...
Well, I don't actually.
What are you drinking tonight?
I used to love talking about the special in
I love special brew.
Leadenhall Market. The lamb used to go in there, and you ask for a ram and spesh, and
that's a totally different thing.
No, you get a pint glass, and you've half a pint of special bitter, and then you get the ram, which is the pale ale, strong pale ale. So you put, it's ale and bitter.
Jerry, what do you think about that?
We used to drink at my university.
Light and bitter.
The drink used to be double vodka and Red Bull and half a Stella in a glass. We used to have an unpolitically correct name for it, which I don't think you're allowed to. But it was related to domestic violence.
Yeah,
the nickname.
Well,
not sure.
I tell you what, in my younger ages, guys, I came up with a thing called the snake in the grass, which was a quadruple vodka with a double creme de menthe frappe.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And you shake it up.
Have you ever heard of Drambuie Shandy? A pint of whiskey and a shot of Drambuie. I mean, that is just filth, isn't it?
Don't do it.
Do you remember the Chumbawamba song?
Yeah.
You know, it was a pint of lager, pint of cider, and then shot of
the whiskey.
So we tried that on the hockey festival. Not good.
They threw water over John Prescott, didn't they?
Chumbawamba, yeah.
Chumbawamba.
I'll tell you what I did. I'm a part owner of a brewery, and I went there, and they had 12 ales on draft, and I consumed all of them. I called it the Windsor Dozen, and I were pretty destroyed by the end. But
Jerry is in Burton-on-Trent, which is one of the homes of beer, isn't it, Jerry?
Yeah, the lovely Bass is everywhere, thank goodness.
Bass.
And don't forget the Everard's Old Original. That's a really
Everard? Who was it? Everard?
Yeah, he is.
Look at the muck on there.
What did you call in about, Jerry?
Well, I wanted to query this thing. Why are we referring to these bought-in protesters and making more of a thing of it? Have you ever gone to the Socialist Workers' Party website, Heaven Forfend, and read the rubbish up there? They literally say that everybody opposing them are neo-Nazis. And not only that, they're paid. I mean, I'm so old, I can tell you that years ago, it used to be said, beware of the Reds under the bed. And we were a country that feared and were...
It's like Corbyn, when somebody said to Corbyn, would you have supported Britain in the Second World War? He said, yes, because of my support for the Soviet Union. So not until 1941, right? Basically, it would have been well up for Hitler before.
But it's interesting, the Reds under the beds. That was like 1950s America, McCarthyism, wasn't it? So and now they're sort of all out in the open, aren't they?
Yeah, but don't forget, they all go out holding the same Socialist Workers'
Well, do you
Party.
think they're actually state protesters? I mean, they've been taken in by the police. They're actually guided there. You know, they seem to be. There's people in the government who are
feels
linked
very Putin-esque, doesn't
to Searchlight and you know, Hope Not Hate and all that, and there's sort of a lot of links, and it seems to be there's actual.
Right, can I just say one thing to everybody? I don't like discussion of Hope Not Hate. Every year they publish a list of right-wing extremists in the British media. For the past 5 years, I've written to them demanding to be included. Hartley Brewer's been in there, Jacob Rees-Mogg's been in there, Patrick Christie. I am never in it. Why am I never in it?
You're falling off the edge of the
Why
right.
can't I be a right-wing
too far
extremist
right,
on British media?
But do you believe, Jerry, that the state are involved in this?
Well,
shipping in these protesters, and why are they masked up? It's illegal. Why are the police escorting masks? Is it because we'll see them dotted around in all? Because a lot of them are paid for. What's your view on that, Jerry? You've been around the block. You're in your 80s, aren't you?
No, not quite there yet, thanks, Ashley.
Oh, you just sound it. No. Only joking.
No, the thing is, the so-called far right are not carrying pre-prepared signs.
Yeah, they're not far right.
And the Socialist Workers' Party is a body that's actually born about Antifa. Now, nobody's talking about this sinister body. It's not just a group of ordinary people, but these what's this?
The far left thugs. I mean, in Southport, Starmer accused it of far right thugs being come in, and it was proven by a police report that they were locals, they weren't far right. But then when the police actually do ship in people from outside Epping, and we've seen it now, they're actually bringing in far left thugs to wind up the other.
This is a long march into the institutions, isn't it? This is Marxism basically destroying the West.
It's like the brown shirts almost.
Yeah,
isn't it?
no, it is, but this is a long-term plan.
My mate who I mentioned earlier has texted in just to remind you of the story. He sent quite a long message. But if you read this, so what has happened is he walks down the street talking about his mother converting to Islam, and they take a photo of him and put it on the Brighton and Hove News, going famous racist wanted. I mean, that is
but
just
why are they
dreadful.
saying he's racist? What
Because he was talking about Islam to his mates.
But why does that make you racist?
Well, it doesn't.
So I don't get
it.
it.
Doesn't.
He can sue them for that.
Yeah. Well, I think he should.
Well,
thankfully, the Free Speech Union's getting involved.
Good.
But this is the problem that's happening now. You can have a normal conversation and people will attack you. Look at this banter ban. The idea that if you say something in a pub, you're going to get thrown out for having a completely legitimate and sensible conversation. It's furious.
Well, they're not playing by the same rules, are they?
No.
And we should call them out. And I'm delighted to say we've got a local reform group. I can't believe how well it's attended. It really is phenomenal.
What's the branch name?
It's the South Derbyshire team.
Okay.
And Alan Graves, if you know him, he's.
I know him. He was the mayor, wasn't
he? Yeah. No, he's just been elected council leader. I don't know what the title is for council leaders, but they.
No, I know Alan. He's a good guy.
Fantastic, and I tell you, it's a hell of a team. All grassroots people. Many have never been in politics at all before.
Well, that's a good thing, isn't it? We've got real people.
And
Sorry, I've just been canvassing, and the Tories were using that against me. The fact that they were saying on the doorstep that Alan Cook has no experience of being a councillor.
Oh, that's good.
And I saw that as a positive. It's like, thanks, you're really helping my campaign.
Have you heard about Alan's been voted as the first Reform councillor in London, Jerry?
Yeah. I think it. I think just imagine to be able to have that kind of success in London is immensely important, isn't it? And
historical.
It's a real Well, I really want to thank Alan for standing up to the plate because, more of us ordinary people, whether we like it or not, have just got to get out there like they did in the States. And we've got to really work at it.
We're more of a movement than a political party.
Absolutely. All right, I just want to say there's something called media monitoring, which means that if you say something about somebody, they will normally get it if they're in major institutions. So why don't we call for the Chief Constable of Sussex Police to resign? Hello, Joe Shiner. I think shaming people for having a conversation in the street is a solid gold reason for you to resign. So
the Essex one, they could do a double resignation.
To the Sussex Police media team. Obviously, if you just go back to earlier, we've been slagging you off all night, pretty much, for the way that you've been attacking people who are having legitimate conversations, walking the streets of Brighton and Hove. More next.
across the UK. On DAB+, on your smart speaker, on your smart TV, and on your side. This is Talk.
And speak of the devil, Kieran in Brighton. Come on, Kieran, what happened?
Man of the moment. Just to check, you haven't been charged or arrested, or what's actually happened in the legal situation, Kieran in Brighton?
No, I have not been charged. I am currently under investigation for a hate crime in Brighton.
So basically, you were talking about your mother, maybe. Right, okay. We can't talk about it.
Would you like me to talk about it? Can I?
Well, the slight problem is there is a debate about the legality of listening to this. So what we're going to have to say is Kieran, you've been biffed. I'm very sorry, but it is an important case. And what we'll do is we'll get back to it and we'll get some update. We'll get some clarification on what we can say legally and what we can't say legally, because we don't want to get anyone into any trouble. Apologies for that. We thought we were okay to talk about this. We may not be. Ken is in London. I mean, I can't believe that he got...
Hey, Ken, did you like your impersonator, Ken?
Howdy, everybody.
All right, hold on, Ken, because we've got a message flooded in from Cindy. Can you press play on the Panasonic, please?
Hi, this is Cindy
Hold on, Ken.
in Michigan. I just wanted to say, this might be inappropriate, so if it is, forgive me, but your special guest, Alan Cook... looks like he just would be really good in bed. I don't know. Okay, thanks.
Let's confirm that. Let's go straight to the horse.
How good are you
in bed? Are you good in bed?
Horse's mouth. Is he like a horse?
I'm a great sleeper.
Hey!
Get a good bed, a good mattress.
He looks like a fit man, though, and quite nimble.
Duck down. Oh, you know.
Oh, is that what you do?
Yeah.
Is that the secret?
Pillows.
That's the secret.
Quilts. Yeah, you got to have a good bed.
Duck and cover.
It rhymes with that. Ken in London. We had an impersonator on. Hallelujah. Did you hear your impersonator?
This is Ken from Dallas, Texas. How are y'all doing tonight?
Howdy doody.
Yeehaw.
Howdy doody, Big Ash.
Thanks, man. You used to live up there. Did you hear your impersonator just about 10 minutes ago? He was good.
I heard it, Ash, but listen, I'd like to talk about a very serious situation in London and the UK.
Yeah, what is it?
The awesome news that the Jew hater, the Israel hater, Proven, Jeremy Corbyn, is attempting to establish a political party with him as the leader.
Yes, he has, yeah.
Now, this for me is it's a clear sign, a clear manifestation of the moral and political degradation taking place today in the United Kingdom.
Exact opposite.
Any man with his record thinking that he will get support, and the amazing thing, in my humble opinion, he will get lots of support.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Anti-Semitism's a vote winner in Britain.
Okay, Corbyn got more votes in the last general election and lost than Starmer got this time when he won. So there's clearly support for the guy.
Listen, thousands of hateful anti-Semitics will join his devilish-driven party.
Yes, but at least we now know who they are. So it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Who said it's a good thing?
Wait, but hang on a second, Alan. What we're doing is we're importing...
It's a good thing because it's shining a light
We're
on it.
importing anti-Semites into the country at a rate of knots.
Well, that is the bad thing.
Yeah, it is, of course it is.
That is what we have to stop.
But it's highlighting it, is what you're saying.
It's like, you know, when these paedophiles set up these dodgy websites, everyone says, oh, they should shut them down. No, leave them up. We'll find out who's accessing them.
Yeah.
Then we can find out who the pervs
It shines
are,
a spotlight
and then
on them,
we
doesn't
can
it?
actually bang them in prison.
Yeah, but
knowing, you know, who the communists are in the country.
Aren't we actually saying that we used to be a good Christian, God-fearing country that would stand up against people gassing Jews? Now, really, if let's be honest, in a lot of London, being an anti-Semite is a vote winner.
Lebanon used to be a wonderful Christian country. Iran used to be a wonderful Christian country.
Egypt was all Christian.
If you look at their histories and look at what's happening here, it's bloody frightening.
Yes.
And there's similarities.
Ken, does that worry you?
It's identical.
No, it doesn't worry me. It's just another sign that we're getting close to the second coming of Jesus on David. Listen, let us not forget that the atheist Prime Minister we have today, Keir Starmer, he gave Corbyn his total and full support while he was in cabinet. He was the biggest supporter of Corbyn.
He wanted him to be leader.
God, Starmer.
Yeah.
Now, Keir Starmer is a very dangerous man, but this Mr. Corbyn, I don't like to mention people personally, but we're speaking here about the leadership of the country. This will be a great display of evil from within our political realm today in this country. We are in big trouble, you know. And when I say we're on the highway to hell, I'm speaking literally. We literally.
Well, I think if Corbyn got political power, hell would be a place on earth.
But don't you think it's good that the left is now split?
Yep.
It doesn't matter about the split, the left.
Well, it does.
Well, no, hang on a second. I think what Ken's making the point, the fact that you can be openly evil and get votes in this country is not a good thing.
Well, we've seen that since October 7th, haven't we?
Yeah.
That's it, Andrew. You hit the nail right on the head there. That's the problem. The fact that an evil man like Corbyn, who's been proven to be a very vicious anti-Israel man, the very fact that he thinks he can come back to power and he will get lots of votes, that's a sure.
But we know who he is. We know what he thinks. We know what he says, and he doesn't change. You know,
and we've seen this with the BBC and Glastonbury.
You don't know what Starmer actually stands for. He's more dangerous.
I don't think he does.
So, with Corbyn, we know his
Listen, we
his
don't
politics.
know what Starmer stands for. Nobody knows what Starmer stands for.
I think that's more dangerous than we know.
This man's not an honest man. This man's disingenuous, Starmer.
We all know
He
that.
cannot be trusted, in my opinion. Listen, folks. This is the crunch here. I have phoned up this nation. Other Christians have phoned up to warn you of the second coming of Jesus. He is coming soon. The signs are around us everywhere.
Can you give us a date?
We are headed for the time of great tribulation Jesus prophesied about in Matthew chapter.
Okay, Ken, we are going to leave it there. The reason is we're getting to the end of the show. Rocky is in Weymouth.
Rocky.
I've got a William Hill account. I could have done with the date.
Rocky, what's going on? Oh, good. You phoned in last night to talk about the death of Hulk Hogan, who was in Rocky 3, the film you were named after, by your mum, who'd had a few.
It's fair to say, Rocky, your anecdote last night was at best perfunctory. So let's hope we can do better tonight.
What's going on tonight, Rocky?
Well, I'll tell you what, you've managed to cheer me up already, because I went up for a chat because I get a bit down in the dumps. That's why I ring up. But playing the Rocky tune.
Well, let's do that again then. Come on.
I love it.
Stop running around.
Catch the chicken.
I do go to the gym.
Catch the chicken.
Do you ever try catching a chicken?
Oh yeah, they're actually pretty easy to catch.
Are they? Not for Rock.
But what did you call him?
I love that episode. I love that Rocky film where they go, "Can he swim?" And he goes, "His name's Rock." That's a reasonable point.
I know I could count on you and Ash to cheer me up. I've been a bit down in the dumps tonight.
Why have you been down in the dumps? Are you able to tell us?
Yeah, well, struggle basically getting a girlfriend. I'm going to be 50 next year and get told I'm a good-looking guy, but I can't pull nobody. So, don't know what's going on.
Is it your technique? What is it?
Well, I'm actually quite a shy person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Supermarket is a good place.
Brothel.
Which supermarket? What, Waitrose or what, Lidl?
They'll normally
which
do all right in the brothel, if I'm being honest.
By the yellow sticker section, or do you want the gourmet?
What, the whoops? The Asda whoops section?
Buy sort of stuff for a single meal and then just push the trolley around for about 2 hours and see